What's good, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Get Defensive Sports Network I-80 Football Show. Y'all thought I forgot. I actually did that on purpose this time.
Oh, is that what it was? That's what it
No,
was?
I swear this time I did it on purpose. I don't be lying. I do be messing it up. This time I did it on purpose. That's why it was so
All right,
long.
all right, bet.
Yeah. At this point, it's becoming a trend that I fuck up the name of my show. But no, this
Mm-hmm.
time, this time it was real. As always, I'm your host, Jordan. I'm here with my co-host, Dante.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm all right. Um, it's a day. I get paid tomorrow, which
I
is
got paid
nice.
today.
See, look,
Mm-hmm.
blessed. That's
And
always
then
nice.
and then and then paid every bill. So I don't really.
You know, you know, it do be
Mm-hmm.
like that. It do be like that. I literally like counted up how much money I'm spending this literally, and it's crazy how it worked out from July 11th to August 12th, just on other people's weddings, and I'm not gonna see this paycheck. When you add in bills and then what I'm paying for other people's weddings and like the
Mm-hmm.
bachelor trip, I'm not gonna see this paycheck at all. But you know what?
It
We
be like
we
that sometimes.
it do. Some you gotta support your people.
Yeah, yeah. We ball.
I
There'll
don't
be
I
another
don't
paycheck. There'll be another
I,
paycheck.
look. I don't know about ball, but we make it work. I
We
think
we 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 power through.
there
We
we go.
power
There
through.
we go. We
Yes. Yeah.
power through. That is what we do. Um, the best we can. Um, how you living? How was it just regular wrestling? Just Friday night?
Yeah. Friday Night SmackDown. That was it wasn't too bad. It was funny. I was one of the only few people, if there were other people, to boo Hulk Hogan's 10 bell salute because he passed away.
Got you.
Yeah, like it was hilarious because they brought out all the wrestlers to the stage, like to the entrance rep, and had them. Damn, hold up, I might have to stop the stream. Um, had them stand there and like in solidarity and silence. And like the first bell goes off, I was like, "Boo!" And like, of course, people in the crowd look back, but like you can see like a few wrestlers go like that, and it's like you're not supposed to be looking at me. You're supposed to be like
Do
straightforward.
what you gotta do. What you gonna do?
Yeah,
Come in the
yeah,
crowd?
yeah, yeah. But it was
You gonna
funny as
call
fuck,
me an N-word?
right? I was cracking up because it's like ain't nobody expected. There's people going like, "Thank you, Hogan." And I was like, "Boo!" Like I don't care. Right? If people be like he did a lot for wrestling. Which is true, but at the same time, it probably could have gotten further faster if he didn't do a lot of the stuff that he did to hinder wrestling. Like, so, like, he a pioneer and all, but at the same time, he was a hindrance to what wrestling is. So I didn't care. And plus, we all know
Racist.
racist.
My like this is gonna sound crazy, but this is our podcast. I can say whatever I want to. My
Right.
favorite thing is when someone who's like clearly a horrible person dies, and then people are just like, "Man, that she was a horrible person," and then people are like, "Don't speak ill of the dead." First of all,
Mm,
I said that when they were alive. Them dying don't mean I'm not gonna say it, and also dying doesn't erase your
who they
life.
are?
Like dying don't it's not a clean slate.
They
Like we
died a
just gonna
terrible
forget.
person. Way to
Yeah,
go.
like it's just
That's all
always
that
like
really
don't.
happened.
It's like don't speak ill of the dead. Why?
Like why?
I
Why?
can speak ill of the living.
Like they were a horrible person alive and now they're dead. A horrible person. Like I don't
Crazy. Like I
yeah.
mean, shout out to the family. I know they sad, but I don't know him. I just know he was a terrible person. This
Yeah,
happens all the
what's her
time.
name? His daughter. Yeah, I had to end my stream. Oh well. His daughter, what's the word? She took herself out of his will.
Listen,
She ain't want to be a part of the estate. So I mean
crazy.
that has to say something, right?
Yeah, we not the only one that feel that way. How about that?
Yeah. Shit's crazy. So yeah. I I other than that, wrestling was fun. I got to meet Charlotte Flair in person because I got a hotel when I went up to Cleveland. I didn't want to stay with my father, so I got a
Ah, okay.
hotel. so there was like some wrestlers that were staying there. So we had I met Charlotte Flair in person. I got a picture with her. That was pretty cool. I didn't get a picture with all the other people because they were drunker than her somehow. And and I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother her. But I saw Jade in person, like up close. She's so fine. She's so fine.
Bro. Uh, it's not even fair,
Oh,
dog. It's not
bruh,
even fair.
bruh, bruh. I really, I walked up to the bartender, asked her if the kitchen was open, and she was like, "No, it's closed. They weren't busy." And I was like, "Yeah, because everybody was at wrestling."
Yeah.
Hey, bring them back. And then I looked over and saw her like over because one of her friends was like, "Jade, you already had like 4 or 5 shots." And like I look over and I was like, "Jade." I look over and see her. She looks at me and I look at her and I was like, and then just left because I was like, I'm still hungry. Like I'm
Yeah.
still like, so I gotta go get something to eat. But Lord have mercy, you're gorgeous. Like,
Yeah. Listen, just
mm.
some people are blessed. Some people are blessed. Um,
I, they are a lot smaller than like I expected. Like I saw Jacob Fatu. I don't know if you know who that is, but I saw him in person and I'm like, he ain't even that big. He definitely ain't that tall. That I knew, but oh, he is not that big. And everybody else was like, or maybe you just kind of big. I was like, nope, nope, he's just
no,
not that
yeah.
big. Like,
Like the way they make it look like,
eh,
yeah.
he is not that
All
big.
right, they be lying, they be lying. Got it. That doesn't surprise me. They be lying. It
Yeah.
happens.
The camera angles and camera work are they're
Yeah,
top notch to
immaculate. Yeah.
make them look as big as they do. Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
probably some lifts in the boots, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and like I all know they do like pump up workouts before the wrestling to
Mm-hmm.
make them look as big as they can before the match. I know all
Yeah.
that, but other than that,
Fine. Got it.
like they not as some of them are. You probably like
Yeah.
because Jay looks like she's not only toned but kind of big. And then I saw her arms. I was like, oh, you're kind of skinny for real. You just toned as hell, but you skinny for real.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, it was fun though. I had fun. Bought myself a belt. Spent way too
Yeah.
much money on that.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Hey man, that my inner child was happy.
Listen, sometimes you got to do it. See
Uh,
the little belt peeking out the background.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
We all knew that was gonna happen.
Come on now.
Mm,
Yeah. So let's lock in. We get into the show. As you all know, we started the show with the traffic update. Our traffic update. We do have a couple of pieces of news. One or two things. First of all, training camps are starting both for the NFL and for college.
sir.
Some people in the NFL's already like 2 weeks in. Some people are a little bit longer because as we're recording, I believe the Hall of Fame game is on. I don't
No,
ever
not yet.
watch that, but
It
it's
don't come on
tonight.
until 8. Yeah, come on in an hour.
Okay, I don't ever watch
Yeah,
that game. Um,
this is a good one. Detroit Chargers. That should be a good game.
Ain't nobody gonna play. But
Oh, you
yeah,
right.
yeah, ain't nobody gonna play. Nobody's gonna play.
You
Um,
right.
I only ever watch if there's like a rookie quarterback that I'm interested in. Like I think I watched like CJ Stroud's preseason games and stuff like that. But like in general, like nah, Detroit, Jared Goff's not playing. Like, what are we talking about? I don't who.
Probably
So
not.
we gonna figure out who
Probably
their
not. Not
backup
as.
quarterback is. We're gonna be like, oh, that's who they got, or who is that? So, but training
Some
camps have
people trying
started.
to.
And they've started for college now as well. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of colleges have started.
Uh-huh.
Ohio State started today. So as we go
I think I
throughout the
saw Penn
weekend,
State and Michigan also started. I think
yeah,
they started earlier in the week though.
yeah. So like as we go
Uh-huh.
through the weekend, some like by the next time we record, everybody will be at least a
Yeah.
couple of days, if not a week, into their fall camp. So football is literally around the corner. Um,
Nah, football here. We got a
Yeah,
game
it's
literally in an
you right.
hour.
This is not a game. This is not a real game. I won't give you that. Um,
Damn. Damn.
um, Speaking of football, especially in the NFL, if this was an NFL show, we would have much more NFL news because a bunch of people are signing contracts and doing all these things. But I don't want to talk about that. You start talking about money too much, it sounds like you pocket watching.
And I'm not Hulk Hogan.
OSU, listen, OSU wide receiver Harry McLaurin, Washington Commanders legend, because I don't know how many great wide receivers they have and throughout their history. And don't nobody get mad at me and start naming them. I'm not saying there's nobody. I'm just saying I can't think of the large number. Like if he stays with them, he's probably gonna end up in their Ring of Honor. Um, but that's if he stays because he just asked for a trade because they don't want to pay him. It's probably a nothing deal, right? Like it's sort of the when you're a player who wants to get paid, it's sort of the things that you do. You talk a bunch of stuff in the summer, and then you hold out a training camp, and then you go to training camp because you're tired of getting fined, but you don't
Hmm.
practice. They fake put you on the injury list, and then you ask for a trade, and then 2 weeks in, they give you a deal. That's exactly what Jonathan Taylor did. That it happens every offseason for some player. So I don't think anything's gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna get traded. They would be crazy to trade him after this season last year and literally be like, "Hey, Jaden Daniels, we know that you looked really good as a rookie. How about we take away your best wide receiver and let you throw to nobodies?" So I'm sure he gets a deal. I think this is just the nature of the NFL. But I mean, anything we could always be surprised. Like, I guess like we could always be surprised and they actually trade him, but that's highly unlikely.
I mean, I've seen teams do some dumb stuff, so
Yeah.
it could happen. They'd be dumb because I don't know any other, like, I'm sure they have weapons, but that's their weapon. That's their main weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you
Well,
they don't have a bunch of wide receivers. Maybe I think I like their running back.
yeah, I think so. I think
Or
it's what
maybe
the
I just
running
think
back's
he's
good.
cool because he got shot and then came out playing 50 Cent and then had a good season.
That's who that
Like,
is? Okay.
yeah, I can't remember. I think, of course, it's Washington, it's DC. Of course, they're shooting NFL players. Like, I don't know. And the only reason it doesn't happen for the Falcons is because I bet none of them actually live in Atlanta. They,
Oh, hell
they
no.
all live in the suburbs.
Mm-mm. They all know around the surrounding area. They
Yeah,
drive.
yeah.
They drive in that traffic to go to work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, of course DC is gonna shoot at the NFL player of your local team, bro. What are you doing? So yeah, but I can't
They was
remember.
definitely trying to rob him. That's what it was.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I can't remember if I actually liked him before that or if I just thought that was cool because like it obviously has to suck to be shot, but then to also come back and play 50 Cent on the run out, like come on. Like you gotta respect that. You gotta
Damn.
respect that. Um One thing you don't have to respect, actually two things you don't have to respect. Gilbert Arenas got arrested.
He's
Supposedly,
already out on bail, or he's
yeah,
already out. Yeah.
and he's denying it. So here's the thing: when I
Yeah.
saw that he got arrested for gambling, I'm like, dummy, like what are you talking about? And then they said it's for running illegal poker games,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm gonna put myself out here. I didn't know that was illegal.
Sir,
Like
yeah.
you can't run a poker game in your house. Cause like, okay, so he's a former athlete. When I think gambling, I'm thinking he was like gambling on basketball
No.
games.
So
He was like, you know what I'm saying? When they said poker, I'm like, you can't just put a poker table in your
look.
house.
So you can, but you can't. Right?
Okay.
Like, what he was doing is gambling thousands, maybe they're gambling thousands to probably millions of dollars. So no, you can't do that because that means the government ain't getting their cut, and that's the
Mm.
problem. That's the
The
problem.
the 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 government, the mob, the mafia
Yeah,
wants their piece.
yeah.
So you
But you
arrest him.
like if me and you was to set up poker and we're gambling maybe a couple hundred, they don't care. But thousands to couple mil, what the hell is you doing here? Like, what are you
Just
doing?
he rich. So he's first of all, I'm not defending him. I just didn't know that specifically was illegal because it's just like
Yes.
he rich. All his friends rich. So if they want to put up rich people numbers, that's illegal. There
Yes,
has to be
because
more to it, right? Like,
no,
or
no,
is it
mm,
literally just the
it's
government's
well,
not getting no money?
that's how you get investigated for it because like I don't think it's legal to gamble in LA, which I think that's where that happened. I don't think it's legal to gamble. So any form of gambling is technically illegal. Like if we were in LA and I was like, I bet you can't beat me in a race, that's technically illegal, but it's not like, you know, what's the word? It's not so egregious that I would get arrested for it. But if you run an illegal poker stuff and there's millions of dollars being bet on, and you got a whole sign that says Arenas Poker Club, that's why I don't believe him when he said he ain't know nothing about it. He was just renting out the spot. But it's your sign. It has your silhouette, your jersey number, and your last name. I don't know. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Cause he definitely he got arrested and was out the next day. He they gave him whatever bill they gave him, he talked.
I think it was he paid bill. I think it was 200,000.
Man, nah, that nigga talk.
So yeah. This is not even with his friend. These are just like people, including they're saying one
Yes.
of them is Israeli gangster. So he was gambling,
Yes.
gambling.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. You can't be
They
doing
can get
that.
5 years, a maximum 5 years in federal prison for each count. He's rich. He's not
hmm
going to go to jail, but like that would be crazy if
He
they put him in jail.
might. He might. I don't
Honestly, that
know.
would that
Like
would that like
somebody gonna
listen.
get.
I'm not Gilbert Arenas' favorite person. I really just don't care about him that much. But that would be crazy, all the things that he's gone through in the last year for him to end up in jail. Like his son was a high recruit, gets into a car
hmm
accident, almost dies, and then he
hmm
gets healthy. He goes to like summer workouts. I think he just got injured again, so I think he might be out for the year or something. And who knows if he was going to be a one and done player, but like a lot of injuries and things happening to his son right now. And then following up that, for you to get arrested and go to jail for up to 5 years, that's a tough year for the
And
Arenas family.
yeah, and he's been doing this since like 2020, 2021.
Ah,
Yeah, like
that
this been
sounds
going
like
on.
some pandemic stuff. Just like, yeah, we need to get together. And then you start running into some circles, and now you really running a business on the side.
Yeah. Watched the video on it and they said, remember that Paul Pierce video? When he had them girls, the one girl was like on the ground twerking and the other one was giving him a massage and he was like
I
on
think
IG
so, yeah.
Live. Yeah. So that happened in 2021 and he was playing poker in LA in somebody's
Mm.
house.
I don't know Gil personally, but he seems like someone that would have a house full of
Oh yeah, there was
strippers.
yes. Oh, if you
Yeah,
read if you
yeah.
gotta read it. You gotta read it. They had
Which
girls
one are
there.
which one are you reading? I just put up the USA Today one.
Uh
It don't talk
bro,
nothing
they
about women.
I
I'm not
don't
reading the right one.
yeah,
No, no, no,
there
no, no, no.
was
I'm sorry. I just didn't read it. I didn't read it.
yeah.
Gershman hired young women who, in exchange for tips, served drinks, provided massages, and offered camp offered companionship to the poker players. That's a nice way to put it.
Companionship. That's really,
Women-
and you know what?
that's
That's
a
what's
that's a
really gonna get
that's
them in trouble. That's
that's
what's
a
really
nice
gonna
way
get
to
them in
put it.
trouble.
Yeah,
Because that's just a
the
nice way of saying
prostitution.
yes.
The women were
They're
charged
gonna
a
say escorts. They're gonna
tax,
say escorts.
right? But the legal, yeah, right. But the legal crime is called, like, the charge is called prostitution, right?
Mm.
Like it would be
Because it'll be
conspiracy
illegal.
for
Yeah,
sexual. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
He better hope you don't get that charge, because they don't play about them charges. The women were charged a percentage of their earnings from working the games. Chefs, valets, and armed security were also. Yeah, this was a
This is a business. They were
what?
running a it was a
Oh, and he
casino.
really had illegal people. Like, so I'm guessing maybe this is one of the women. I'm not sure, but one person and a woman are also charged with three additional counts: conspiracy, I cannot talk right now.
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy to
Yeah.
commit marriage
What?
fraud, and making a false statement on an immigration document. So one of the people was trying to get married so he could get a so he could. It was the
They can
Israeli
get
gangster. The Israeli gangster got charged with marriage fraud. He was trying to get married so he
He was
could
trying to get
get
he was trying to get a green card.
citizenship.
Yeah.
What? Who are you hanging out with? What are you? This man is going from his couch and his podcast yelling about basketball to oh,
And
okay.
it's crazy for him to be saying like, I don't know nothing about it. Bro, it was your house it's your mansion.
Come
He said,
on,
I just
bruh.
rented it out. So you renting it out to people and don't know what's going on in your own place. You ain't got cameras, nothing in your own place to let you know what's going on in there. And then again, I
I
just said
believe that.
he had a sign that said Arenas Poker Club.
Oof.
And remember, he remember when he shot the ball and then turned around and did that, like, or
Yeah,
whatever it was. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the silhouette. Like, nigga, we know that's you. It has zero. It literally says it has his silhouette and has the number 0 there. Now I'm supposed to believe you ain't know nothing? You don't know nothing about what was going
Right,
on?
right, right, right. I mean, yes, you
Uh,
are supposed to believe he knew nothing. That
mm,
is exactly what you're supposed to believe. Okay. So speaking of other idiotic things that people do, um, Shannon Sharpe got fired from ESPN because he
I thought.
didn't like to mess with women his age. So basically, and also he doesn't understand consent at the age of fucking 55 or however old he is. Um,
57.
so so Shannon, oh my God, that girl was so young. Dante, that girl was young for us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
And now she's retired. She put it out there. She's like, "Yeah, I'm retiring." I was like, "For what? What
oh
were you
my
doing?"
God.
We all know what she
She's
was doing, but
she
like,
no, she's an OnlyFans model, yeah.
yeah, we all know what she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do
As
find it
as
hilarious
as
that ESPN wished Karl Malone a happy birthday,
but
and then
yeah.
2 days later
But
fired
now
Shannon Sharpe.
it's a family company. Listen, I'm not defending Shannon. This is indefensible. You should have
Yeah,
listened to Monique and you should have listened to Cat Williams, who
yeah.
literally told you to stop messing with young girls, bro. And as my other co-host
Or at
DJ
least
would say,
stop messing with young white women.
well, first of all, you just stop messing with young girls, period. But then
Yeah.
also to the other point, yes, that as well. Uh, um, um, I saw that. Well, as my other co-host DJ would say, he couldn't pay for his daughter's wedding, but now he's providing generational wealth to OnlyFans models. So
So here's my thing about that, right? He did pay for his daughter's wedding. For a wedding, right? $30,000 should be plenty for a wedding.
as someone who got married, no, it's not. And I got married. I got married in Ohio,
Well, I
and we
mean, that
had
should be enough
and we had
that
and
should
we
be
had
enough
a
to help you, and then you do the rest. $30,000 ain't enough.
wait. So wait, hold on. You have to clarify your statement.
He
Thirty thousand
gave them
dollars.
$30,000. He gave her $30,000 to
Oh,
put
that'll
towards
cover
her
most
wedding.
of it. That'll cover most of it.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But to be fair, he just gave that girl $23 million, so he could have paid for the whole thing. Hey, he did. He did want to give her some money
He
because he was giving her some money before he was giving her more than $30,000 for that for race play and all the other weird shit that they was doing. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm not even saying he had to pay for his daughter's wedding. I'm just saying he could have. He could have
he
paid for that
he's
wedding
he probably did pay for most of it. What I'm
50,
saying is
60 times over at this point.
what I'm saying he didn't want to give that girl $23 million. We all
He should have thought about that. He should have thought about that. You got to consider the consequences of your actions.
I'm also like, yeah, I get it. Like, it is kind of crazy that he didn't want to give any more money to his daughter for her wedding, even though I do think 30,000 should be good enough to like, you don't have to pay that much. But I mean, it's his money. You do what you want with it. Just don't be
I do.
be more discreet with this stuff. And that's the problem. Stop talking to these young women. Because if you were gonna pay for stuff, if you're gonna pay for women your age, because they at least know how to be discreet.
Or at least closer. 35 is still young to you. You're 57.
Oh, very young, and they're at least at 35. She knows how to be discreet. She's gonna
And
know how to be discreet. But I don't even know how old the girl is, but like,
like
she not.
20. She's like
No,
19 or 20.
I'm gonna get my clout somewhere somehow.
And it's just and my thing is just like you can't believe that girl likes you for you.
Oh,
You're
I'm
on
sure he
TV
didn't think
every
that.
single day. Like you're
I
on like
hope he didn't think that. I hope he didn't think that. He can't be that dumb.
I
She's a
we
Hooters
sure
worker.
we
Like, bro,
sure
like, that's how I look at it. She a stripper. She a Hooters worker. They at work. She don't really like you. I hope he ain't that
some of
stupid.
these
There's
people
no
really
way.
some of these people do, bruh. I just think it's listen, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Now you
Of
out
course,
20
yeah.
now and the crazy thing is, right? It's not only that he's out $23 million. He is then also out his job, however much
His
that was
job.
paying him yearly, which was probably over $1 million. So you out however many millions on that contract. We could probably Google it because they probably put out what his contract was when he signed from ESPN to Fox. And then there is no guarantee that this is going to happen. He basically has a month to not lose his potential podcasting deal where he was supposed to get up to $100 million
If he
for his
loses his,
podcast. His current deal is up in August. And here's the thing, a bunch of people have podcasts, so I don't know that he's gonna lose it. But he was supposed to sign a deal worth close to $100 million for his two podcasts.
his
23 mil
ESPN
out.
deal was 6.5 mil.
How many years
Salary
did it
industry
say?
reportedly, according to industry, could have been in the high eight-figure range, potentially rivaling. Oh, he could have rivaled Stephen A. Smith. Ooh.
Yeah, because Stephen A. is a talker, but he's a Hall of Famer, and a lot of people liked him.
He's pursuing another deal with ESPN.
It don't mean he's gonna get it.
Yeah, but apparently, yeah, Shannon Sharpe's contract with ESPN also included expectation of a large salary increase based on his continued employment. He has since left ESPN. That's cute, and is reportedly pursuing a new deal worth 100 mil. Oh, that has to be about the podcast thing.
Yeah,
Then
that
yeah,
article sounds old, but either way, he lost $6.5 million
it
for
can't be that
X.
old because he didn't. He just like it's
No,
he
no,
didn't
no, the
leave.
leave ESPN. He hasn't been on ESPN for months. I think that's what they're talking about. Like
Well,
he
that's
was like
because
suspended or
he was
whatever.
yeah he was still under contract. Like he was still an employee for ESPN. He had just wasn't on the show because he was going through his legal stuff.
Whatever. 23 million plus 6.5 million for however many years and that next contract, plus potentially losing $100 million podcast deal over a 20-year-old because you like to fuck with children. It's the evil world we live in. Speaking of to change the subject, as he said on his podcast,
Oh, she
uh
wild for that. She sued him for 50 mil and his only net worth was 30 mil.
his network was he lost. I don't want to talk about this no more.
That's what it says that his net
He
worth is 20 is 30
I
mil and
think
she
most of
asked for
that is
50.
I think most of that is wrong, but I don't think it's much more than 30. So she because when it said 23, I said he got that. Like I'm not saying he broke, but like he only made like someone Googled he only made like $25 million his whole NFL career.
Yeah, he's made more money outside of the NFL than he has playing for the NFL.
And we
And I
don't know
mean that
how he
makes
spends
perfect
it or whatever.
yeah.
Whatever. It
Well,
doesn't
we kind of know how he spends it.
you right. You right. We Lord. Um there is positive news in the Sharpe household. His older brother, Sterling, is getting put into the Hall of Fame. It took him forever to get into the Hall of Fame. He was one of those players who his career ended really short. So he was on the Hall of Fame track and then it wasn't sure if he was gonna get in. And so he had to get in. I don't remember what it's called, but he had to get in as like an older player. Like once you hit like 20 or 25 years, there's like a second category. I don't remember exactly what they call it. But the Hall of Fame is this weekend. They're putting in four players into the Hall of Fame. I still can't believe that um now I'm gonna forget his name. That is insane. Um
Oh, you talking about for the Colts?
yeah.
Um
I've been
um
complaining about this forever and
for like
now
3 or 4 years now.
Reggie Wayne.
There
I
he
still
is.
can't
Yeah.
believe Reggie Wayne hasn't got in. Uh, like, no offense to Sterling Sharpe, but like, and I understand like that was a different category, but like Reggie Wayne's been on the ballot for like 3 years. He should have got it. It doesn't matter. So the Hall of Fame class is four people. Eric Allen, who was a cornerback, he played from 1988 to 1994 for the Eagles. 95 to 97 for the Saints, 98 to 2001 for the Raiders. Oh, this doesn't tell you any of their, oh, it does tell you their stuff. Um, he intercepted three passes in each of his first 7 seasons and 10 times in a 14-year career. He led the NFL with 4 pick sixes in 1993. He totaled 54 interceptions overall, 8 interceptions returned for a touchdown, 6 Pro Bowls, and was named to the Eagles' 75th anniversary team. The next player is Jared Allen, which is much more like our generation. We all should know anyone
Is
around our
this
age.
is does this make him first ballot?
No, no, no. Oh, Eric Allen has been eligible for
No,
19
no, no, no.
years.
I'm talking about Jared Allen.
No, he's been eligible for 5 years.
Oh, okay. I feel
Yeah.
like
No, no, he retired in 2015. And then I think it's 5 years, so 2020. And then he's been eligible for 5 years.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, this is fifth year of eligibility. Jared Allen, defensive end. He played for the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Panthers.
Wow, I
Man,
don't
he went.
remember the Chiefs at all.
That's where he was at the longest.
Wow.
No, no, no. Sorry. He was with the Vikings
Miss,
the longest.
I was gonna say,
He
what?
was drafted to the Chiefs, and he
Yeah, I don't
started his
remember that at
career
all.
there. But I think he became Jared Allen for the
And for
Vikings.
the Vikings, yeah, yeah,
Like we
that's
know him for the
for the
Vikings.
Vikings, yeah.
Yeah.
So much so that that's where I thought he only played. Like, I ain't gonna
No,
lie to
no.
you.
I knew he played later his last couple of years, but no, he got drafted to the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know
Um.
he got drafted to the Chiefs. That's
Yeah, he
crazy.
did it. He did his whole rookie contract there, and then he signed with the Vikings. So he played 12 years. He started 181 out of 187 games, which is crazy as a defensive end. He started in the Super Bowl. He led the NFL in sacks twice. He has 6 interceptions, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, 58 pass defense, which is crazy as a
He
defensive
had
end.
the
But if you remember, like he was knocking them things down. Like that's one of the things that he was known for. 136.
he had the wrangle up celebration right after a sack.
Yeah, yeah, I believe so.
That right. Yeah,
Yep.
okay, I had to make sure. Yeah, I got my players
He
right.
has 136 sacks. He ties the NFL record for with 4 safeties,
Damn.
Five Pro Bowl nods, and he was a first team All Pro 4 times. 3 years straight. He was the first team All Pro 7, 8, and 9, which is crazy because 2007 was his last year with the Chiefs, and he was an All Pro. And he was a 2007 Kansas City Chiefs team MVP. And they said, "Mwah." And he led the NFL in sacks that year.
He
So
might
his
have just
last,
wanted to leave.
I maybe the Chiefs weren't great in 2007. So maybe they may have offered and not,
Yeah,
yeah,
he might have just went somewhere, just decided to go somewhere else.
yeah, that's true. Kent State legend Antonio Gates is next. Antonio
Yes,
Gates
sir.
is, I think, inarguably the best basketball player ever turned football player. He is top 3 tight end all time. He is one of the best players to play in the
I was
league,
like, the
and
only
he
other person I
went
could think
to
of is
Kent
Jimmy
State.
Graham.
I think there's a couple, right? But Jimmy Graham's
Yeah,
the
but
other well-known
that's the
one.
only. I was like that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head
There's
is Jimmy
especially
Graham.
good ones. There's another one who's on the
Yeah,
Colts, but he's not good. Mo Alley Cogs, but yeah. Um, he played his entire 16-year career with the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers, 236 games. He was undrafted from Kent State because, again, he played basketball, and he played in 15 games as a rookie. Like he was good basically immediately. And his second season, he had 13. He had a career high 13 receiving touchdowns. He had 39 touchdowns on third down, which is tied for third most all time. 116 career receiving touchdowns are the most by among tight ends and seventh most all time. I don't know if that's gonna get. I don't know if Travis Kelce's near that. Travis Kelce has been breaking a lot of tight end records.
he has been,
Um,
and I think he's not close to that one still. I
okay,
don't.
that
I
would make
think.
sense.
Yeah,
116 touchdowns is crazy.
yeah.
That's
They. I remember looking that up. Like Antonio Gates has some records where you're like, what? Like what the hell? And I think that's one of them. And that one, it's he might get close, but I don't think he's gonna get there.
yeah. He basically averaged a little over 7 touchdowns a year for 16 years. Um, yeah. He's seventh most all time, like
He
all
is not
time. Like
catching that man.
no, where's he at?
77 touchdowns, Travis
Oof, and
Kelce.
he was limping last year. He was not a great
Uh-huh.
player last year.
He not.
Um,
He not. He not.
yeah, he has all-time Chargers marks and receptions, yards, and touchdowns. He has 8 seasons with 8+ receiving touchdowns, the most ever by a tight end. His 21 career multi-touchdown games are also most by a tight end. And his career, oh my God, these numbers are crazy. He has 955 receptions for 11,841 yards and 116 touchdowns. 8 consecutive Pro Bowls, first team All Pro 3 times, second team twice, and he's a member of the NFL's All Decade Team of the 2000s.
Ain't
He just
nobody catching Antonio Gates. I'm
no.
sorry, because the greatest tight end that they like to say, Gronkowski, 92.
Gronk has never been the greatest tight end for me. I'm sorry.
No, me neither.
Um,
I thought it was Antonio.
who's
I would say all the time
who
Antonio Gates or
who's the other
Tony
one?
Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's one of them two
Hmm.
for me. Like,
Yeah,
listen, I don't know. Listen, Gronk. I'm not trying to hate on Gronk, right? Gronk's a Hall of Fame or whatever, but like, it was never Gronk for me personally.
for me.
It was always one of those two. And even
Matter of fact,
this is disrespectful to Travis Kelce because Travis Kelce is very good, but I just can't see him as better than them, right? Like he's definitely. I would take
he's always
Travis
been
over
good.
Gronk, but I would still have him third behind Antonio Gates and why
The
did I just
only
forget it?
close person is literally Tony Gonzalez.
It's hard, like, and we always want to do this GOAT thing, but like I can't give it to Travis. I would put Travis over Gronk. I don't care what nobody says. Like I get what
Yeah,
Gronk was doing, but I don't care.
yeah. I still might go Tony Gonzalez. 15,000 yards, 111
Oh,
touchdowns.
yeah, 111. So he's only 5 touchdowns off,
He's five off.
but he has 4,000 more. Yeah.
And yeah,
How
nobody
many
catching
seasons
them
did he
too.
play?
Oh my God, from 97 to 2013.
That's 16.
Yeah, 16 seasons. Yeah.
Oh, they both played 16. Okay, yeah, it is Tony. It's definitely Tony. It's Tony, then Antonio, then probably Travis, then I would put Travis over Gronk.
Then yeah,
And Gronk.
it
Or
it's one
Travis
of
and
the two
Gronk's
for me.
hard because they don't even play the same position, really. Like they
Yeah,
did, but they like whatever.
yeah. And then
But
like
yeah,
Jason Witten is like a distant fifth, sixth type of guy for me.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Sterling Sharpe, the last player, wide receiver. He played 7 seasons, 112 games. His career was ended
Oh, holy
short.
shit! Hold on, I keep forgetting. Shannon Sharpe was actually
A tight end. You're right. Shannon.
Shannon was one of them dogs.
Yeah.
Hold
All right. While you
up.
look that up, let me talk about his brother. Sterling Sharpe. He led the league in single receptions with 90 and 1992 and 93. He set the NFL record for catches in the season at 108. He topped his own record with 112 the next season. He surpassed 1,000 yards 5 times in 7 seasons. He had a league leading 1,461 yards. Again, this is in the 90s. Just saying. He averaged 91.3 yards per game. He scored the most touchdowns, 13 in the NFL in 92 and 94. At 94, he had 18. At the time of his retirement, he held 7 Packers regular season records and tied for 3 additional. He owned Green Bay's postseason records, including most points in a game against Detroit. First team All Pro 3 times, selected to 5 Pro Bowls, a member of the NFL's All Decade Team of the 90s. He was one of the best wide receivers in the league. And if he would have played longer, he would be on that track to be considered one of the best ever, period.
uh,
I don't remember why he retired. It was some sort of either injury or health thing.
health
Something,
reasons.
yeah, like
Yes,
it was like I couldn't remember if it was an on-field injury or like a personal health thing,
it
but
was personal
he
health thing.
couldn't continue to play.
Yeah,
But like I'm glad that he got in. Whatever legacy member, whatever it's called, I don't remember what it's called for the players 25 years out. But Shannon has always said he's the only Hall of Famer who wasn't the best football player in his family. That's gonna happen when Eli Manning is in the Hall of Fame. Ugh. But that is the
not a
four
Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame
Famers.
quarterback.
He's not.
And then Shannon Sharpe, 10,000 yards, 62 touchdowns in his 13, 14-year career.
Yeah. I mean, he was a dog too. He was a dog too. And then he decided to, never mind. Okay. So 30,
Damn, in
40.
his last season, he had 8 touchdowns.
We spent way too long on the traffic update for the fact that we have to talk about 5 teams. This is a preview show as it is, as always. You know what it is. We are very close to the season. We are previewing the teams. We are previewing every Big Ten team. That is what we do. From my understanding, we are the only Big Ten podcast that does it like this. We also pick every single Big Ten game, which is around 168 games. And once we say it, we stick to it. There's no flip-flopping. Whatever we say happens, right? We don't get on here and lie and say we knew Indiana was coming last year when we didn't know they were coming and had them ranked low, right? We
All
we
right.
we, we don't get to do that, right? So that's not how we do it. That's not how we play it. We are We just do what we do, man. So we have five teams in this tier. This is the bowl eligible tier. These are the teams who we do expect to win 6 games, but we don't really expect them to sort of contend for the playoffs. The playoffs, obviously with the playoffs, it depends on how a lot of things go. But to really be in the playoff conversation, you at least have to win 9. And as we saw
Yeah.
last year, nobody got in with 9. Like there are going to definitely be years where someone gets in at 9-3 because a bunch of teams have losses, or a 9-3 team wins their conference, something like that. But if you don't touch the number 9, you're not going to be considered for the playoffs. So this is these teams that we think for sure are getting in to a bowl
A
game,
bowl game.
but
Yeah.
are not really playoff contenders.
Yeah.
We have 5 teams in here as well. This one was a little weird, just because of how we like, because we do this separately, but our teams were roughly the same. So the 5 teams that we have
Yeah.
in this tier that we're going to talk about today: Minnesota, Michigan State, Rutgers, Iowa, and USC. Um, so let's start with Minnesota, the
Yeah,
team
because
that
I
keeps,
have them up right now.
yeah, the team that constantly breaks my heart. Minnesota is, of course, led by PJ Fleck. Minnesota is, I mean, Minnesota is just a weird team, right? Minnesota is a team that you should be happy with, right? They have been to a bowl game 4 straight years. The one year that they missed was the pandemic, and I'm almost guaranteed that they went in 2019, because I think 2019 may have been the year that they won 11. So they've been in a bowl game for 4 straight years, but also longer than that, if especially if you take out the pandemic year, which we do. PJ Fleck always has them as a good, not great team. They sit somewhere typically around 8 and 9 wins, including the bowl game. They've won their last 4 bowl games, so they do well when they go outside the Big Ten. They've beaten West Virginia, Syracuse, Bowling Green, and Virginia Tech, so they do well outside of the Big Ten, as we just said. They're just a consistent team. They're a team. I mean,
They
they
had a
just,
bowl game against Bowling Green.
yeah,
Oh
last year.
wow.
They
Oh, that was
sorry, 2023, not last year. We're in 2025 now, 2023. Because in 2023, they were 5-7, and they were one of the 5-7 teams that got in. And then
yeah.
Bowling Green ended up being their 6th win. So they ended up going 6-7. So that was the worst year that they've had recently. Last year they won 7 games, and before the bowl game ended up with 8, ended up 8-5. I mean, there's this team that sort of lives in this tier. The reason why I always say that they break my heart is they've had a couple of years, especially when the West Division was still around, that we thought that they were going to win it. And they let Purdue win the West Division before they won it. And that's very
Uh-huh.
disappointing, right? Like when you have this sort of space where you think that these additional teams can win, and then of course they don't. That is obviously disappointing. So, but it's disappointing from what we thought that they could be, but it's not disappointing as a whole, because to go to a bowl game for 4 straight years is great for anyone. To be in a bowl game 5, 6 out of 6 or 7 years, whatever the actual information is great. But to especially do that in the Big Ten, when you do occasionally have to play your Ohio States and your Penn States, and you have Wisconsin who's good at times, you have Iowa who's dominating the West Division, and all these things, to be that level of consistent is a great thing. We talk about it on the show all the time, that we need to stop looking at,
They have net. Oh, I was about to say, in this past 5 years, they've only beaten Iowa once.
yes, which I mean, literally the 2 years we thought that there were 2 years that they could have won the West,
21 and
and they
22.
needed to beat Iowa to do it, and they lost both of the games. So, Iowa has been their Achilles heel for sure. Um, and then they beat Iowa the year that it
Uh,
doesn't matter. Like
yeah,
they win
2023.
5 games, and that's the year that they beat Iowa. So, I mean, it's disappointing because we wanted them to win, and we've been doing the show for a while. We kept saying like, "Hey, you're gonna lose division soon. You need to do it now," and they didn't do it. But they're not disappointing overall. This is a good, consistent team, who's probably gonna make a bowl game this year and make it 5 straight.
We also have to. I have to let it be known and say that a lot of the reason, or not a lot of the reason, but what really would get in the way for them would be injuries.
That is
In
very true.
those years, they would lose their quarterback and their best running back.
Yeah,
They would lose
who's their best
defensive
wide receiver?
players,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah, like so it definitely. I think if they were healthy, or they at least semi healthy, they probably do figure out a way to the win was, excuse me, when we were expecting them to, but that did play a part when they lost both running backs. What was that, 2022? I think they had lost both running backs to injury, and
Yeah.
it was like in the middle of the season. Then they lost
But
their
then,
quarterback.
but then I think they found the running back they have now, Darius Taylor.
Yeah, but they also lost their quarterback the week after they lost both
Yeah,
running
so
backs.
it is
Yeah,
very they I don't know they need to up. There's I don't know if it's the
telling
training
you they need to
staff,
practice more.
strength and conditioning, whatever it is, they
They
do
need to practice more.
have weird injuries to their best players all the time. So their 2025 outlook, they did they won 8 games last year, which is their third 8-win season in 4 years. But doing that, they won 7 one-score finishes. Um, so that is sort of hard to do. They do need to be a little bit better this year.
Hmm.
Um, they for the and this is a very weird Minnesota thing, which also like makes it um more sort of honorable and recognizable that they keep going to a bowl game. They've lost their defensive coordinator for the third straight season. Third straight season. Last year's defense, but they've always had a good defense. Like that, their
Hmm.
defense has been so good that they keep losing him. So last year, their defensive coordinator was Corey Heatherman. He was poached by Miami with an and this is the one thing about Minnesota and why I think they'll never actually be better is because they can't pay anybody, which is why they
Uh-huh.
keep losing their defensive coordinator. So they lost their defensive coordinator Heatherman to Miami. He was offered a significant pay increase. Last Kirk Shiraka was the first one. He left to go to Michigan, to go to Rutgers. And then
Uh-huh.
Joe Rossi was the defensive coordinator in 2023. He then left to go to Michigan State. And then they had Corey Heatherman. He now just left to go to Miami. They are all technically horizontal moves, right? Lateral moves, but in all of them, they got more money, including the two teams in the Big Ten. So Minnesota does need to sort of pay more, if they're going to do anything, honestly. Um, so we'll
Huh.
see. We'll see if they can hit on their fourth defensive coordinator. And I think they're all been promoted, at least like multiple of them have been promoted from inside the staff as well. So they are developing these defensive coordinators, but they're not paying them to keep them.
To stay. They're probably okay, and that makes sense then. They're probably thinking, you grew through us, we developed you, we should get a home field or a home discount. And they're like, nah, I'm trying to get paid, which I can understand that.
Yeah.
I, I got a family to pay for and shit.
Yeah, I guess so. They did spend a little bit of money in recruiting. They landed 8 impact transfers, and they have the 30th overall class, which is not bad to be in the 30s for Minnesota. Um, they are bringing back uh, so they're bringing back running back Darius Taylor, who is a very good running back. I think he had some injuries a little bit last year, because he didn't hit 1,000 yards, but he was right there, 986 yards and 10 scores. He returned for his third season. He's a very good running back. The big thing with Minnesota is they are passing the torch to a unknown quarterback, which is happening in a lot of places. His name is Drake Lindsay. He is 6'5". He's been on the team
Sheesh.
for 2 years, or well, he was a 1 year, so he's a redshirt freshman. That is good. I mean, basically, how good he is and how much they can rely on Darius Taylor is really going to determine their season. But this is also a thing that they continue to sort of do, where they are one of those teams that sort of builds up as they get seniors. So in 2026 or 2027, if Drake Lindsay is good when he's a junior or a senior, they could be really, really good. So it's one of those things where they sort of had their ups and downs. This year, I think it's going to be a little bit hit or miss because they are breaking in a new quarterback. They
Ooh, that
also
defense was good last year.
Yeah,
Real
that's why they
good
don't got a
last year.
defensive coordinator no more.
Yeah,
Uh,
it explains it. Good
yeah.
Lord.
They lost both of their wide receivers. Um,
Okay.
They also lose three longtime starters. One was a first round pick or a high second round pick in Ariante Ursary. And then they lost right tackle Philip Daniels, who transferred to Ohio State, which is funny because he transferred to Ohio State and he's not going to start at Ohio State. So they lost four offensive linemen. But they typically have a decent offensive line, although I don't think it was the best last year. But that's one of those things where you sort of hope that they do well, but at the same time, there's the potential that they have five new starters. They did add four who were starters at other places, so they're getting people with experience. But as we say all the time, transferring is tough, but then to do a whole transfer in your offensive line, I think that's going to lead to some issues. Luckily
Yeah.
for them, and we will get to the schedule. Luckily for them, they have four games to figure it out because they should have, they have four pretty easy wins in the week three or three ish, three and a half, sort of easy games to figure it out before their schedule gets sort of hard. On defense, they do you ever sometimes see somebody's name like age and be like, damn, what am I doing with my life?
Oh.
Their new defensive coordinator, Danny Collins, and I'm sorry, Danny is such a millennial name. Coach Danny doesn't sound good.
Coach Collins is what it is.
Yeah, but sometimes, but young coaches be like, call me by my first name. Coach Collins does have a strong name. He has to go by Coach Collins because
He's got to.
Danny does not. No respect. No respect. You can't. You can't. First of all, you're 32. You have to be Daniel now. like Danny was cute in 2011, right? Your wife can still call you Danny. You cannot be 32 going around. It's Daniel. It
Oh
is.
my
It is.
God.
Your name
Oh
is
my God.
Daniel Collins.
He said you
So
can't be.
grown ass man going by Danny. Grow
That's
up.
crazy.
Grow up,
Wow.
Daniel.
Wow.
Daniel. Anyways, he's and I'm hating a
You
little
never
bit
know.
because
You never know. He might be named after his father. He might not like it. Like so, he goes by Danny. You never know.
no, grow up. Go by your
Oh,
middle name. Go by your middle name. What are we talking about? So the new defensive coordinator is Danny Collins. He's been on the staff since 2012, which literally means he's been on this staff since
he was 21, 20
yeah.
years old. Like
Yeah,
what?
I think he was a student assistant, which is what I did. I think
Yeah,
he was a student assistant, and then he just followed the coach. So
yeah. 13 years.
that's also why I'm hating because
He was
this was
19. Yeah,
yeah this was my life. This is what I thought I was going to do, and then I realized that coaching was
the
I didn't
worst.
I didn't have 13 years to make $50,000 before I finally got a good job. So, but I mean, it worked out for him. Shout out to Daniel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Daniel. Corey Heathman is in South Florida. Um, he's been on this staff again
I want to
since
know when
2012 with
if
three
he's gonna
defensive
turn
coordinators.
33.
The
So
biggest thing is obviously can he do it? Can he call plays? But he has I think he's been with enough good coaches that I think it's fair to say he's going to be decent. But you do never know, especially in that first year. Uh,
so I just Googled Danny. That's a Danny.
he looks like a Danny.
That's a Danny.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. He looks like it. His picture. It's like
But here's the thing: if he looks like a Danny, his players absolutely call him Danny.
oh, probably. Well, I mean, he's been there since he was a child. They
Yeah,
probably he probably can't even get it like that, like to get.
they promoted him because nobody's gonna want to hire Danny. Until
You know what's funny about
he's
that?
not gonna get a
You know what's
serious
funny about
job
that?
until he
Danny.
goes by Daniel.
That's funny because you know what's funny? Danny Amendola is still being called Danny Amendola.
Yeah, but he's like 5'5".
I
when you're
I
when
don't
you're
understand the correlation.
because when you're 5'5", it's oh look at Danny, look at little Danny. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
the disrespect is crazy.
he was a great football player. But he's like 5'5". You know what I mean? It was like literally, it was like oh look at little Danny. Tom Brady's throwing to Danny. Like that's how it was. Like you know.
He was a dog. Like he was such a dog.
I'm not saying he wasn't, but like oh he was 5'11".
If it says 5'11", then he was definitely 5'10".
Yeah, 5'9", to be honest with you. He's listed at 5'11", 188. So he's 5'9", 175 pounds. Got it. Yeah, that's a Danny. 5'9", 175 pounds. You can be Danny. You can be whatever. Yeah, that's Danny. Like, oh, look at Danny. Let me stop. I'm disrespecting
Oh,
people.
he
I don't got
just
no
turned
reason to do that.
32. Damn. Wait, hold on. Wait, no, he should be 33. He's 33. They got that wrong.
Maybe
1992,
92 is
92
when's his birthday?
May. Yeah, he's 33.
Oh, he
They
probably he
got,
probably wrote this before because you got to
uh,
get it to production. He probably wrote this
yeah,
page before he turned 33. So he's 33.
yeah.
Um um
That's what I was looking for that whole time.
Yeah, the defense helps. It helps when you have Coy Parrish, who is an amazing player. He's from Minnesota. He should have been at Ohio State. He may have even started at Ohio State as a freshman. He's that good. Um, but he wouldn't have started, but he would have played a lot, and he would be our starting safety now next to Caleb Downs. But he's a very good player. He led the league with 5 interceptions and attitudes, punch returns, and he didn't even start the whole season. Like he's scary. He's also because it's a video game. He transferred from Minnesota, so he's on my team in the college football video game. He saved a couple great interceptions. I'm a big fan of Coy Paris, and I'm hoping as a junior he leaves and comes to Ohio State. They did lose two good players in Ja Joyner and Danny Strigow. Ultimately, this is a transition year. This is a long way to say that this is a transition year. This is a year where they have some young players. They have a freshman quarterback. They have a true sophomore leading their defense. They do have Darius Taylor, who is an older guy, but they're replacing their entire offensive line. This is going to be the year that they make their money, right? This is the year that the coaches make their money. They're getting a new defensive coordinator. This is going to be a transition year, but I do think Minnesota, and this is something we've said for a while, I think Minnesota has reached a point where I'm always going to give them 6 wins. And I mean, unless their schedule's god awful, but like I believe that they're going to get to 6 wins until they don't. You know what I mean? Like they didn't
Nah,
last year. The 2 years ago, they did go 5-7. They had a harder schedule that year, I believe, but we'll see, right? But I'm going to predict the six until proven otherwise, and their schedule's not
yeah.
awful this year. Any final thoughts on Minnesota before we do the schedule?
Nah, I'm done giving them hope, like you said, or giving them, we, at this point, it's too steep for them unless they just come out of nowhere like Indiana, but it's too steep for them to be what we were hoping they would be a few years ago. So I can't see them getting under 6 wins as long as they keep up a defense like they've had the past 5 years, really. So,
Yeah,
and it seems like that's just normal for them, even though they lose a coach.
crazy. So to go through the schedule, they start out with Buffalo, Northwestern State, and Cal. We both have that as 3 wins, and then they have a bye week. So that is essentially they get 4 weeks to kind of figure out the quarterback, figure out the offensive line, figure out the defense. That's going to help them, and that I also think this is part of the reason I'm giving them the 6 wins because they do have some time to sort of figure out
Right.
what they want to do. So that is good for them. Then they play Rutgers. That is a toss-up game. We both have
Yep.
a loss. Why a loss to Rutgers?
Because they're evenly matched in my eyes. I think Rutgers, they're about the same type of team, and they could win that game or lose that game. There's teams. I think I said this in the last episode, but there are teams like not Wisconsin, Michigan State, Minnesota, and I'd have to throw in Rutgers that are just around the same to me, where they play each other, and I couldn't really give you an answer of who would win and who would lose.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'm going with Rutgers this time because they're a little bit further, right?
Uh huh.
They took Minnesota's quarterback, they took Minnesota's defensive coordinator. They have a little bit longer, and again, Minnesota's in that transition. Rutgers should be a little bit further. They're not going to be great this year, but they should be a little bit further. We both have a loss at Ohio State, of course. Beating Purdue, of course, because Purdue's going to be one of the worst teams. A
Uh
loss
huh.
at Nebraska, and then you have them beating Iowa. I have them losing. And then we both have them losing to Michigan State, which I think is interesting because Michigan State is another one of those ones that they could win,
Yeah,
and that would maybe get them 7-5. Or if they lose a game, they have multiple sort of up in the air games. Like
yeah,
realistically, they could go to 8-4, right? Like they could
yep,
beat Rutgers and they could beat Wisconsin or like shock in Iowa and get to eight
yeah.
wins. But I just think that that's hard to predict with their schedule and with their so much rebuilding. After Michigan State, they have a bye, and then they go at Oregon.
And that's a
Loss.
tough one. That's a tough one for Minnesota to
Yeah,
have to do to go to Oregon.
even coming off a bye, but like
Yeah.
and it's a night game. It's gonna be
Hmm.
9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, that one's gonna be tough.
You know, Oregon gonna come out with a sick little uniform or whatever for the
Yeah,
night game. So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's gonna be a tough one for
Oh, it's a
Michigan
Friday
State.
night game too.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's nice. That's a
yeah.
Friday night game.
So
And then they finish it with Northwestern and Wisconsin. We both have a win for Northwestern. You have a loss for Wisconsin. I have a win, and we both have them at 6-6. Again, they could go 7-5. They could go 8-4, but they also
it
could
could
go
go in
five
five
and
and seven.
seven. Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's very much going to be. I think these first 3-4 weeks with the bye are so important for them because they have so much to sort of overcome. But I think this all builds for next year, which I do think is a positive for them. If they can get out of this year at 6-6, that's a win.
yeah, and especially 7-6 and win your bowl game,
Yeah, 7-6
which
with the
is
win,
which is
and
so far what they do. They win their bowl
yeah, I
game.
mean
So
they've won four straight, so
uh
winning their fifth straight bowl game is definitely out of uh not out of order. Yep. So next, let's go to Michigan State. Michigan State is in year two of what I think is going to be a multi-year rebuild under new coach Jonathan Smith, who came over from Oregon State. Michigan State was in the absolute dumps. Partially because they hired a coach who is not that good. I do love when black men fail upwards. We don't get that opportunity a lot, but he never should have gotten that job because he was never a good coach.
right.
And then he put them in a worse place because he couldn't recruit. And then he embarrassed them because he decided to make advances to a woman who was on campus talking about sexual harassment.
Just it's just the irony is just crazy. It's insane. I
And, and he
that'll be a
has
story I never forget.
No, never. And he doesn't have a job yet. Like he's not I don't even think he's a position coach anywhere. Like,
Which
which I
is
mean, he
crazy
has
because
enough
like
money, but like that's just
but we
embarrassing.
yeah
The woman known across the country as someone who was sexually assaulted or raped by a football player and then made it a thing to go to advocate for these women, to go and talk to these players about consent. And you invite her to talk to your players about consent. You do this whole partnership. You have these t-shirts on. I remember right before it came out, they're all wearing the t-shirts on national TV
mm-hmm.
at their
It
spring
was a
game,
spring game. Yeah.
and then you're on company time. Just I'm so disappointed in him. So Jonathan Smith comes in, but it's a tough rebuild. Jonathan Smith brings in some good coaches. I think he's a good coach. He brings a quarterback with him, Aiden Childs, who I'm a big fan of, but he's very much one of those college quarterbacks that is always like, no, 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 yes, 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 no. Like he's gonna break six tackles, run for 50 yards, and then fumble. Uh, and then he's gonna throw the most beautiful pass you've ever seen for an 80-yard touchdown. It's very up and down, and he was even more so last year in his first year starting. You do have to hope that he gets better, but I think in his entire career, I think he's probably just going to be one of those players who sort of is high variance. Think of like a Johnny Manziel who's not gonna get drafted number one because he never should have got drafted number one. Think of think of any really fun college quarterback that you're like, he's not gonna go to the league, but I love to watch him play. I think Aiden Childs sort of fits in there. Um, but again, they were down in the dumps, so I think that this is another sort of transition season for them, where hopefully they are better than last year, where they only won 5 games. The year before that, they won 4. The year before that, they won 5. So they haven't been to a bowl game since 2021. when they had that miraculous season where they won
Well, it
11
was like
games.
11 games. Yeah.
Yeah, behind Kenneth Walker the third. Kenneth Walker the third. That's crazy that that ever happened. They then gave him a 10-year contract, and he lost it immediately because he can't keep his hands to himself.
It took 1 year. 1 year.
Literally 1 year. So they haven't been to a bowl game in 3 years. So getting to a bowl game this year would, of course, be progress. If they win the bowl game, end up at 7-6 or whatever that is, that'd be big for them. But I do think that I don't think that they have the easiest schedule, which doesn't help them. But yeah, so let's talk about Michigan State. First of all, Michigan, I really enjoy watching Aiden Childs play. Like the way I feel like the way I talk about him doesn't match how he actually is on the field because I talk so like glowing. I just find him fun to
Uh-huh.
watch, and I really hope that he gets it together because I do think that he could be really good. They also have he was a former 5-star. They also have a really, really, really good wide receiver and Nick Marsh, and they were able to keep him. I think it's partially because he's best friends with Aiden Childs, but he's a wide receiver that could have walked on anywhere. I think Ohio State doesn't take transfer wide receivers, but there's a chance they would have at least talked to him. He definitely would have gone to Penn State. Texas would have taken him, Alabama, Oregon. Maybe everyone but Ohio State because Ohio State can't accept too many transfers when you have 6 5-stars waiting and they want to play. Also, maybe not Oregon. They don't have the stable, but they had a couple. No, Oregon would take. There's 134 teams. He would have went to 130 of them. Like they all would have accepted him. He's pretty nice. I do really do like him. He was also a true freshman, so they have him for 2 more years as long as they can keep him. They signed the number 28 transfer class. All 8 offensive signees were starters at their previous school, so they're trying to do like they need players, but they're not doing playing the long game. They're taking starters and hoping that pays immediate dividends for them.
Uh-huh.
Um, but ultimately, they do still have a long way to go. For as fun as Aiden Childs was, he led an offense that averaged 16 points a game and 289 yards. It was one of the worst offenses in the sport, if
Yeah.
not the worst offense in the sport. Their ranking,
I
let's
couldn't
go
say
through
the
some of their
worst because
rankings. Their scoring offense
Purdue.
was 123. Their points per play was 120. Their total offense was 110. Their rushing offense was 111. Their yards per carry were 115. Touchdown to interception ratio was 118, and sacks
One
per
to one is
attempt
crazy.
was 119. So tough, tough.
Mm-hmm.
Not a very good
But
offense.
luckily, a good thing is that it's really mostly just up from here.
Yes.
And with second year, with both the receiver and the quarterback having another year, having that full year under their belt and going into their second year, it should skyrocket, not skyrocket up, but it should get better. Those for it's I would say like from 123 for scoring offense to maybe 90, 90.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that would be a boost for
it's
them.
a 30. Yeah, that's a big jump. So right.
Yeah. Nick Marsh set receiving records for receiving yards and reception by a freshman. And then they also have tight end Jack Velling. Jack Velling is considered by many as the second best tight end, returning tight end in the Big Ten. The first is Max Clare. He's on Ohio State. So they have a good wide receiver. They have a good tight end. Um, so it's really going to be the rest of the offense, the running game. And ultimately, if you cannot have a 1-to-1 touchdown and turnover ratio, interception ratio, you
Yeah.
do have to cut down on that. Um, they have a lot of small school transfers, which is not always ideal. The offensive line is going to feature 3 transfers, one of them being from FCS Montana State. He was an All-American at Montana State, but you just never know how those players are going to sort of transition. So they're working
Uh-huh.
in 3 starters on an offensive line that was 96th in OL and offensive line run push and 119th in pass protection. Um, that has to get better, right? Like
Yeah.
he's partially throwing these interceptions because he just doesn't have time. They lost both of their running backs, so that's going to be something to see. Um, so it's that's why like this is another team where I think that there's going to be positives. I think that they're going to improve from last year,
Uh-huh.
but sort of in this tier. I actually, well, I'll save that for the schedule. On defense, Oof. On defense, man, they got so much better on defense. You remember for like three straight, like especially under Mel Tucker, they had the worst secondary in college football, and he was a DB's
Yes.
coach.
Yeah.
Last year on defense, they were 46th in yards per game, 75th in attempt, 83rd in QB rating, 70th in completion, 54th in explosive pass. They were even better against the rush. Like they were not the an amazing defense. They weren't one of the best defenses, but they were very feisty and they were hard to move the ball on. It did help. Their defensive numbers would have been
What
better
game?
if they weren't on the field a lot because of all the interceptions. I think that is something that's going to help. They have some decent returning production.
Yeah, they had
Um,
Ohio State stymied for a minute
yep.
with their defense, Michigan too.
Mhm.
And I want to say Oregon. I think those three games they had their defense had those offenses uh a little bit of panic mode for a second until stuff got together. Michigan's offense was never going to really because that offense was just garbage last year, but
Yeah.
they had those three teams a little worried. And they were stopping them for a second there until at least Ohio State and Oregon pulled away. I don't know how bad those games were, but
Oregon was
I
31-10 and Ohio State was 38-7.
I do remember Ohio State struggling for like the first three or four drives though on
And
offense.
then he started handing us the ball, which
Yep,
helps.
yep, yep.
Yeah. So they are bringing back both their safeties, which is great. They're losing their corners, but they brought in three corners in the transfer portal. But the biggest sort of loss on their defense, the hardest thing is they're losing a lot of players in their front seven. They had really good linebackers, really good defensive linemen. One of those really good defensive linemen went to Oregon last year, Derek Harmon, and then became a first round pick. He was on this team. That was 2 years ago, of course. Yeah, Derek Harmon was on Michigan State before that. Yeah. Um, and that's why I was so happy for him because I was like, I mean, I hated that he went to Oregon, but like, I mean, he got to win finally and then become a first round pick. So,
Yeah.
they lost both of their starting linebackers and three defensive linemen. Cal Holiday and Jordan Turner were both all league linebackers, and so now it's sort of there's going to be on their backups. Um, yeah, I think that this is another rebuilding year, but they're also not helped by the schedule. So I
Yeah.
think this is one of those ones where it's similar to last year, right? Everyone gets a little bit better. The wide receiver is better. The quarterback, less interceptions. The offensive line sort of gels. You scare a couple teams. Maybe you upset one, maybe you don't. And you really build for the next year where hopefully you have a better schedule. They play seven of the top 10 teams
Yes, they do.
in the Big Ten. And they
Yeah.
have Boston College and the
Uh-huh.
non-con. Like it's it's tough. Like it's there's this is a moral victories team, and I know not everyone loves that, but unfortunately, this is going to be a moral victories team. Like that's just sort of what that is. So,
Yeah.
any other thoughts on Michigan State?
Only thing I would have to say is that I think out of this group of teams that we're talking about, Michigan State or I don't want to give a spoiler to one of the other teams, but Michigan State and one of those teams out in on the West Coast.
Well, I already said
Um
with all the teams that we were talking about.
oh
So,
yeah. Then yeah, the USC or Michigan State probably going to be the worst teams out of this bunch. Um just coming into it because you're talking about rebuild. They Michigan State's rebuilding, and USC has really just been mid tier since Lincoln Riley got there, and even probably before then. So I think those two teams. I think Michigan State will be decent, but it's going to be probably one of the worst teams out of this bunch.
yeah, for sure. All right, let's do the schedule.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Michigan State's schedule. As we said, they have seven of the top Big Ten teams. It is not beautiful for them. They're starting the season on Friday against Western Michigan. We both have that as a win. Then they play Boston College. That is this is a team they could upset, especially because they're playing at home. I don't think that they will, though, unfortunately. But I mean, this is just sort of a tough game in the non-con. So we have that as a loss. Then they play Youngstown State. We have that as a win. Then they go to USC, but we do have both of them beating USC, which is interesting. Let me make sure that that's right.
No, we got a L for USC.
Sorry, yeah. I'm like, that didn't sound right.
Yeah,
We have them
but
losing.
I could easily, if we get to that game and the next time we talk, like we come into podcast and we're talking about Michigan State USC and we go Michigan State won that game, wouldn't be surprised in the slightest.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
yeah. So we both have a loss there. Then they have a bye week. Then they play at Nebraska again, playing these teams that are just a little bit higher than them, and
Just
this
a
sort
little bit.
of
Yeah.
and this and
They're
sort of
ahead
where
of
they're
them.
at. Yeah, they're ahead of them
Yeah.
and a better quarterback. But I mean, Aiden Childs was the second best, like first year starter. He
Uh-huh.
has some things going for him. As I've said, I'm a big fan of him. So we have them losing to Nebraska, uh, beating UCLA, losing to Indiana. You have them beating their rival Michigan. I have them losing. Do you want to talk about why they're beating Michigan?
I don't think Michigan's offense is going to be good enough this year still to be I I think if it's I'll say it like this. I don't think Michigan's offense is going to put up enough points to where they could easily win this game for them. So if I think it's a close game, I think Michigan State pulls off the win because Michigan's quarterback will probably be Aiden Childs this year, where
Which is
he'll throw something or give the ball away that'll give Michigan State the win. And Michigan State will probably win the game 3 points, 17-14, something like that.
yeah, I could definitely see that. That's definitely in the range
Hmm.
of outcomes. So yeah, I mean, just the way the number of teams work out, Michigan is not in this tier, but they're not much above it, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not very high on Michigan. We'll talk about that next week. So you have a win, I have a loss. They play at Minnesota. We both have a win. Then they have a bye week, and then they go into a tough 2 game stretch. They play Penn State, and then they play at Iowa. Those are 2 losses, and then they end the season with Maryland. I have them at 5-7. You have them at 6-6, and it's just. I mean, we just went through the schedule. For them to get to 6-6, they have to upset Michigan. Essentially, they have to
Yeah.
win every game that they should win, and then
Mm.
upset Michigan or Boston College. That's a tough
Which
ask. I'm not
and
saying that
I'm
they can't do it.
yeah,
That
I Boston College one that's really tough. But Michigan, I don't think it's going to be that tough. I don't think beating Michigan could is that out of the realm of possibility for Michigan State.
I don't think it's out of the realm of the possibilities, but I do think that the Michigan game really depends on Michigan's quarterback because I do still think that Michigan has a better roster. Unless I mean, but they could. The thing is, they have a really good wide receiver and a really good tight end. They could just
Hmm.
go off, right? A couple long
Yeah, like they
touchdowns.
could have a
So
good game, or and again, Michigan just could give the ball away at an improper or impromptu time, and that just gives them the win for it.
yeah,
And again, I'll say this too. We go into that, and we're talking about it, and Michigan got the win. I wouldn't be surprised either. But there's like 3 games on their schedule where I'm just like they could definitely get the win. USC, Michigan, and I don't trust that. Never mind. It's just those two, USC and Michigan.
yeah,
Because I was gonna say Iowa, but I think Iowa's defense is just gonna be that good. And I honestly, Iowa's offense is probably just gonna be scary. Honestly, if they just, I think Iowa's gonna be the best team out of this bunch. If Iowa's in this bunch, is Iowa's in it?
yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
Iowa's gonna be the best team in this bunch by far.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm not far off of
Really?
it. I'm not far off it.
Who would you think is going to be the best team in this bunch?
Ah,
I know you're not going to say what I think you're about to say.
so here's the thing. We can go to Iowa. No, okay. So probably yes, but Iowa also has a much harder schedule than USC. So if we're talking about who has
USC,
the better record at the end, which I actually think I may have them with the same record, but if we're talking about like which team has a chance to get out of this tier, I have to pick USC off of the strength of the fact that Iowa's like schedule is bad. And listen, USC schedule is not amazing.
Iowa
Iowa
usually
schedule is
doesn't have.
worse.
Yeah, and but Iowa's a good team all the time. You got to remember, Iowa usually has either, if not top three defense in the Big Ten just about every year.
Right. But and I mean we're gonna go into
And
this.
now they can now they play offense. Or at least they're going
We
they
hope
can
that they play
they
offense.
started to show it last year. They started to show it last year going to finish the season, especially to finish the season. And I think they just got better on that side of the ball in the transfer portal and stuff like that. So I think they're going to be better on offense with a good defense.
See, the thing is, I don't know how good their defense is gonna be.
I think it's going to be better than USC's
It
because
should be.
USC hasn't shown me nothing to have faith that they'll have a good defense.
So here, but here's the thing. Like, I'm not saying that you're wrong, and I'm not trying to fight for USC. My opinion on this stems from Iowa's schedule, which we're going to talk
Gotcha.
about here in a couple of minutes. Their schedule just really hard. So like, I think that their offense is going to be better, but their defense is going to be worse. So that evens out to them being the same team that they've been over the last couple of years. And then they have a tough schedule.
I think because of who's coaching that defense, I don't think the defense is going to be that much worse.
It was worse last year than their standard. Even if they have the same defense last year, that's worse than they've had the 5 years before that. And when you add in their schedule, it ends up them being the same team that they've were the last couple of years. But their defense is not going to be. I will tell you right now, their defense isn't going to be the best defense in the Big Ten, and that's their standard. I'm
I
not
don't
sure
think
they're
that's
going to
going to
be top
be.
three. I won't go as far to say they won't be top five, but I don't think they're going to be top three.
I'm trying to look because I don't think I don't trust USC.
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
I have more faith in Iowa getting out of this bracket than USC.
I not with their schedule. For me, I just not with their schedule. The thing is, like, whether you trust USC or not, USC is liable to have a really good
You're
offensive game.
so
They
I
had
get
multiple of
so
them last year, and
mm-hmm. Stop anybody.
they just don't have the yeah, but they don't have Iowa's schedule's worse. And Iowa doesn't
Yeah,
stop any of the good teams. Iowa's never stopped Ohio State.
yeah, but
So it's just like
that's fine. But USC hasn't been able to stop. USC hasn't been able to stop bad teams, bad
but
offensive
their defense
teams,
was so here their defense was better last year than it
and
was previously.
they still couldn't stop bad offensive
But okay,
teams
but basically, what you're saying is you have much more faith in Iowa's offense than USC's defense.
by far. Yes.
I'm not doing that.
Oh, that's crazy.
USC's defense has always been better than Iowa's offense. Like if we're
And
talking about it, USC's defense, like if we're talking about the worst side of the ball, USC's defense was significantly better than Iowa's offense. Iowa's
and
offense has a
I
lot
agree.
further to go.
I
USC hired
I fully agree with you, and I'm going to go with this year. I have more faith in Iowa's offense. I have more faith in Iowa's coaching, period, offense, defense, than I do USC's.
I'm not gonna I can't trust Iowa's offense. I'm not gonna do that one.
I can't trust USC's offense. There's been plenty of times USC comes out and put out stinkers. Last year, the year before, they had Heisman. They had a winning quarterback, and there were games they were only putting up like 15 points.
That's not. I think you're misremembering that. With
Yeah,
Caleb
probably,
Williams, they
but
were
they're
losing games 38-35. Like they were scoring, they just weren't stopping a nosebleed. This is too far. You have me defending USC. For those of you listening, I want to be clear. I don't think that USC is going to be good. That is not what I'm saying. When we are comparing USC and Iowa, I have more faith in USC this year based on Iowa's schedule and some of the things. I am not saying USC is going to be good. It's the fact that we're even talking about this and I have to pick USC is making me sick to my stomach. But I think it's insane for you to trust Iowa's offense. I'm sorry. Like, and I believe in Iowa. Like, I think Iowa's going to have a decent quarterback, but like, it's going to be like the 10th best quarterback instead of the worst. Like, he's not going to be top five. So it's just like, it's tough. I don't know. I don't like it. I can't do that one. So okay, where are we at? Did we do their schedule? Are we moving on? Did we
from
finish?
Michigan State. Yeah, we finished Michigan State.
Okay, so let's.
Hold on. I'm looking because I'm going to Iowa now, and I'm going to.
So yeah, we finished. Did we finish it?
Yeah, we finished.
Yeah, because they have the win at Maryland. Yeah, you have them 6-6. I have them 5-7. Okay, so since we're talking about
Yeah.
Iowa, let's move on. Well, actually, no. We'll save Iowa. Let's do Rutgers just because Rutgers. I do think, regardless of where we end up, I do think that Iowa and USC are slightly above the other three.
Dog.
The face you're making is because you're looking at USC's schedule, which is also
Mm, I'm,
tough.
u- I'm
No,
I'm looking
okay.
at I'm just looking at Iowa from last year, and I'm looking at everything from last year for Iowa. I have more faith. I have more faith. Because you also forget Lincoln Riley's a loser.
First of all, who I've coined that. I will never forget that Lincoln Riley's a loser.
Hey, that's I'm saying, like, that's why I have way more faith in Iowa than USC. I have more faith that USC will go 5-7 than they'll go 6-6. And I know I have them at like 7-5. Like, I know what I got USC right now, and I still think they'll go 5-7 over 6-6. And Iowa will go. Iowa will have. I believe Iowa will win 8 games before USC does in the Big Ten. Cause not what 3, 4, 5, 6. They won 7 last year,
So did
and then their
USC,
bowl
didn't they?
game. I don't know. I can't find USC on this goddamn thing. They don't want to give me
They're
it.
towards the top because he's high on them.
But that nigga's
You're not looking for them where they are because the person who writes the previews has them tied for fourth, which is insane.
oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they got Michigan too high too.
Yes. So that's why you can't find them. Last year, USC won 7 games and they beat Texas A&M in the bowl game. And the thing with USC last year is they were in all of the games as well.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying, like, they'll be in the games and still lose them because Lincoln Riley's a loser. And they can't stop anyone. They couldn't stop Michigan. Michigan's a bad offense. So was Minnesota. They lost to Maryland. And Maryland wasn't that good last year.
Yeah. Look,
Again, it's right. They beat UCLA, but UCLA was in that game. They beat Wisconsin, but Wisconsin was in that game.
but looking at just they were weird because they beat LSU and they should have beat Penn State.
But LSU wasn't that good last year. And you're again, but
Should have
that's
beat
again, Penn State was a bad offense in going into that game from that time, going into that game, and still lost. That was the what's the name? That's the tight end game for him. That was his coming out game,
Yeah, I know. I watched
especially
that
in the
game.
second half.
Yeah. Here's
Bruh,
listen.
nah.
I hear you. I get it. I'm all pro hating on USC and Lincoln Riley. I just I'm looking at Iowa's schedule and I just don't see it. Especially because with USC, you at least have the chance that they could drop a crazy game. And their non-cons easier. It doesn't matter. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about Rutgers so then we can go back to having this argument. Rutgers is having their best couple of years
There it
under
is.
Greg Schiano, but their
Uh-huh.
best couple of years under Greg Schiano is just back-to-back bowl games. But that's great. They hadn't been to bowl games the 3 years before that, and that's just what I can see. I know they haven't been before that. So they went to back-to-back bowl games. They had back-to-back 7-win seasons. They beat Miami in a bowl game in 2023. They lost to Kansas State last year, but they won 7 games in the regular season. It was the first time that they've won 7 games in the regular season. And they won 4 Big Ten games. Like this was the best season that they'd had in a while. They snapped their losing streak to Maryland, as we sort of talked about. They've replaced Maryland. Maryland and Rutgers were in this place where a lot of times they both ended up in the last game of the year, needing to beat the other to get there. And Maryland had beat them for multiple years. They finally beat Maryland last year. Um, but at the same time, it's just kind of like they also had higher expectations last year. They had one of the easiest schedules, and then they
They did have an
lost
easy schedule
to
last year.
UCLA. They lost to Nebraska, who they should have been better than. They lost to USC, who you've been shitting on and was not a great team last year. Like we went in last year with Rutgers saying, wow, they could win 8, 9 games, and they
Uh-huh.
struggled to get to 7. So it's one of those kind of things where it's just like it's tough because their defense was awful last year, which nobody expected. And then they just haven't figured out the quarterback thing. They have Minnesota's quarterback, Ethan Kaliak-Manis. He was boomer bust. Last year he completed 60% of his passes, but he had a 13-2 touchdown to pick ratio.
Cancer.
But
Huh.
and losses he completed 48% and was 5-5 with picks. So he was very up and down. You just didn't know what you were gonna get. The running
Yeah.
game wasn't as good as it had been um last year. But I mean, Kamanunga is good, but he didn't have the year that he had had previously. The offensive line wasn't as good. It's just like, I don't know, man. Actually, that's sorry. That is wrong. Kyle Monangai did have a good year. He got injured and
Mm-hmm.
missed the last couple of games. I am saying that wrong. He ran for 1,000 yards again, but he got injured and missed the last couple of games of the season, and they had to
Yeah, that could have
throw.
been 1,300
Yeah,
yards.
they threw more with Ethan Kaliak Manis, which was not great for them. So, um, they had Isaiah Pacheco and Kamanunga. They don't have that anymore. They have four running backs jockeying for carries that they hope to start.
Isaiah
Um,
Pachenko. Oh my God, that's an old name. He been in the league for like 4 years now.
yeah, and then they went straight to Kamanunga. Yeah, yep. Antoine Raymond, who was Manunga's backup, and in the bowl game he had 124 yards and three scores. So um, he's probably the projected starter, but they also did bring in CJ Campbell from FAU to sort of fight for that as well. Um, they have decent wide receivers, which is not something that you sort of expected. But they have Ian Strong and KJ Duff, who combined for 72 catches for 1,100 yards last year. So they are players that they're sort of looking forward to. But the problem is and they're bringing back four starters, two of which earned all Big Ten recognition. They are losing their best offensive lineman, so they're pretty high in returning production. Um, what is the official number in returning production? They're number three in returning production on offense. They're bringing
That's
back
not.
81% of their offense.
Oh,
Really,
that's
they're
good.
losing essentially one offensive lineman, a wide receiver, and the running back. Running back is a very good running back, but the running back. So, you sort of hope and you sort of think that there should be some good there, some continuity on offense, which should help. But it really just depends on if Ethan gets better and if they can find a running back. They've had a good running back for 6 years, so I sort of believe that they probably will, but you never know. The biggest thing for them is defense. They need to get the defense fixed. They were
Yes, they do.
118th in yards per carry on defense, 123 in negative play, 124 in explosive rush rate, 106 in yards per play. They were just a really bad defense. And part of it is because they um lost Muhammad Toure very early, who's a very good linebacker. He's no longer on the team because he went to the transfer portal. They brought in Minnesota's defensive coordinator. He had an awful year and immediately left. He's now the head coach at UMass. So they have a new defensive coordinator who's been there multiple times. This defensive
Hmm.
coordinator, Rob Smith, has worked for Mike Elko and Tom Allen. Those are some names when you're talking about defensive guys.
Right.
But there was a big exodus and they've lost seven of their top eight defenders. These are multi-year starters who were a good defense the year before. So like a lot of times we have this conversation like, does it matter if they're returning if they were bad? These weren't bad players. They had a bad year last year, but the year before that they were a good defense. They lost seven of their top eight defenders. Um, the linebacker, they were going to have a good linebacker duo, but then Muhammad Toure transferred out to Miami. They do still have Daryl Dejambe, who was a starter last year and earned all Big Ten. He played really, really well. He had to step up again because Muhammad Toure was injured.
Hmm.
They lost both of their defensive ends. They brought in, so here's the thing, right? And I hate to repeat myself on these sort of shows, but it's the thing all the time. When you bring in players from lower levels, you just don't know how they're going to play in the Big Ten. But they brought in two players who combined for 21 and a half sacks last year. So if it works out, they should be able to get after the quarterback, which is a plus. but the secondary is a full rebuild. They lost everyone in the secondary. There's so much that they had to bring in three transfers who are expected to start. And like Greg Schiano's a secondary guy. His secondaries are always good. You can sort of expect maybe that they're going to figure it out a little bit because they're good, but they're bringing in three transfers. They lost everyone, and so that's tough. So ultimately, for them to be good, they need their passing attack to lead, but they've never been a team that the passing attack leads, and um they need the defense to step up with a bunch of new players, and they have a hard schedule. So it's just kind of one of those things. Like I feel like I've said this for most of these teams, where like I'm not sure that they're going to be a bad team, but they have a hard schedule. And
Yes, they do.
I'm not
Yes,
going
they
to say
do.
that for everyone because there are some teams in the Big Ten who don't have a hard schedule. But the ones that we're talking about in this tier do. These are teams that maybe in other conferences would be better teams, but they have a hard schedule. They play six of the top 10. They have Oregon, they have Illinois, they have Ohio State, they have Penn State, and then there's also other teams who are like slightly better than them or equal to them that you don't know, right? You don't know if they can beat Iowa. They typically don't. You don't know if they
Yeah.
can beat Washington, and then they play Miami of Ohio, who's a team that they could beat, but also a team that they could lose to. Miami of Ohio is one of the better MAC teams.
Yeah, and they
So
keep getting better. It just keeps it's like,
hold
I don't
on.
understand what is it. Miami, Ohio was pretty good last year, and I think that was a increase from the year before, if I'm not mistaken.
They also play, let me make sure I have this right.
I have it up right now.
Yeah, they also
The
play
schedule.
Ohio,
Yes.
who beat Miami of Ohio in the MAC championship game. So
Yeah.
essentially, they play
They
the
got
two
two
best teams in the MAC.
in the MAC
And
to
should they
start
beat
their
them?
season.
Yes. Could they lose to them? Also, yes. So it's just like there's the only rest on their schedule is Norfolk State. So how are we feeling about Rutgers before we get to the schedule? Do you have any?
Um Uh, man, unfortunately Rutgers is one of those schools that I don't not pay attention to, but I don't always get a chance to watch. Out of all the Big Ten schools, like I don't get to see their games often. But to lose most of your defense is tough. That's
Yeah,
tough.
and your best
To
running back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I still think they're gonna be better than the worst teams we talked about last week, but yeah, it's gonna be Greg Schiano's a good coach. I think Greg Schiano's a 6-win guy regardless, and that especially with Rutgers, he's been there a while now. So I think that helps them. But yeah, to get the two best pack teams, and you got what Iowa, Washington, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. Was that five of the best Big Ten?
Did you include Washington? Because that's where six
Yeah,
comes from.
yeah. Oh, Penn State, Ohio State. Oh my God, Illinois, Oregon, and Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Not great. Not great. They're
yeah. No, it's only the five because I don't see any other. Oh, Iowa 6,
yeah.
6. Yeah, there you're right. You're right.
So
Damn. Yeah, that'll be tough. They're gonna have a tough schedule. They might end up being one of the teams where it's like we expected them to be better, and just because of their schedule, they could end up being like a 4-5 team. That's definitely or a 4-5, 5-17. That easily could have been a 7-5 team. It
yeah,
just, yeah,
yeah. I mean, because again, like we said, like our schedule prediction is betting on them to beat the two best teams in the MAC, and they may not beat both of them.
they might not be both of them.
Like I mean, they could, but they may not. I need to. Oh, that game's on Thursday. Am I gonna go to that game? No, no, I won't be here. I'll be in New Orleans. Damn. I might go. It's hard. It's hard to go to games because I don't want to miss the other good games, but I do like going to Rutgers games. Like, you know what I mean? Norfolk State would be interesting because Mike Vick is there. Miami, like Ohio would be interesting because I graduated from there, even though I don't do much with the football team. It's gonna be cold as shit, but I'm trying to go to that Penn State game because it's Penn State. Like how often do you get to see them? I'm waiting for Ohio State to come here. That's gonna be a couple of years. It's gonna be very expensive, but
You
I'm
want to go
like,
to a November
yeah,
game?
yeah, I do,
At
I
what
do.
time? Go back down.
Oh
To be
no,
determined.
yeah, 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 yeah. If it's at noon, I'll go. If the sun's out, the sun's got to be out. The sun's got to
Yeah,
be
because
out.
if that's a that's a 3 o'clock going into 7 o'clock.
No, 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 no.
Cause it's gonna be cold by halftime. It's gonna be freezing by halftime. And that's what I'm saying. It depends on what time that game is. Cause if I
I'm
know
not
you're not
going no
going at
matter
night.
what. I'm not. No, I'm
You're
not
not
going.
going at night. I
I'm
know
not
that
going.
much.
Yeah. Okay. So we're running long. These previews get
Yeah,
us.
we are.
It's okay. It's previews, and we don't have to talk about Iowa and USC a lot because we talked about them so much when we were
Oh
arguing about
yeah,
them.
we kind of did. Yeah,
So schedule: Ohio, Miami, Norfolk State. We both have wins, 3-0, but again, could easily be losses. Then they
it
play
could be one and
Iowa.
two. Yeah.
That's a loss. They play at Minnesota. We both have a win, but that's another game that they could lose, especially because it's at. Their schedule is very variable. They have a
Mm-hmm.
bye week, so we have them at 4-1, and that's as best as it gets. They they go Washington, Oregon. That's two. Oh, you have them beating Washington.
Yeah, I got them
Interesting.
beating Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Washington's gonna be that good. Washington lost some games last year that Washington, what was it?
But here's the
Washington.
here's the thing with Washington. They
Mhm.
didn't lose a single game at home.
They
Washington has one
didn't.
of the best home environments. Washington
You're
lost
right.
all of their away. If this was at Rutgers, I might have given it a better thought. But at
You're right. I
Washington,
forgot all about that.
all the
I
way
actually
across
forgot.
the
It's too late.
country,
It's too
yeah,
late now, but I forgot all
it's a
about that.
9 p.m. game on a Friday.
Ah, they're gonna get cooked probably. Washington got a lot of Friday games, don't they?
I feel like it. It do feel like it. But if you're Washington, wouldn't you accept them?
I'm okay with that. I get the
Especially
whole
if they're at
weekend.
home.
I get the whole
Yeah,
weekend.
you want that, like a lot of, like,
Washington played a lot of Friday games last year. I swear they had
yeah,
two last year.
I just think you want the exposure. It helps, right? Like,
But yeah, no, I'm not mad at it.
because
Like
otherwise, there's not a lot of times that Washington's going to
I
be
gotta
the only team on TV. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I got that primetime game. So it
Yeah.
was like until if they make the playoffs like they were doing a couple years ago.
Which they're gonna get there, not this year, but they're gonna get back to it.
Oh,
Um,
I believe it. I believe it.
so you have a win, I have a loss, but you're low key regretting that win. Then they
I
play
am.
Oregon, loss. Then they play Purdue, easy win. If they don't beat Purdue, they should just give up. But then they play at Illinois, loss. Then they play. This stretch is weird. It's like really tough game, really easy game, really tough game, really easy game. You hope that they don't get too injured or down after the tough games, and then it sort of adds. So, um, we have them sort of alternating, losing to Oregon, winning at Purdue, losing to Illinois, winning
Mm-hmm.
at Maryland. Then they have a bye week, and boy, do they need this bye, because then they finish the season at Ohio. Their season's over. Their season ends week 11, because then they play Ohio State, Penn State, and it's wraps.
Yeah, that's nasty ending.
That's
At least they got the
nasty.
Maryland in a bye week.
Yeah, that's nasty work.
But Ohio State, Penn State to end the season is just
Nasty work. Their
it's
season
you know
ends after
it's
the
also
Maryland game.
nasty for Michigan too because they get the warm up blowout on Rutgers and be all and go into that Michigan game.
Might as well be a bye week, baby. Yeah, we up, Ryan Day. Just because you won a
This should
national
be,
championship don't mean shit. You better beat
bruh.
Michigan.
You gotta win that game. Swear to
Stop
God, if he
fucking
loses
playing with
that
me,
game,
bro. Stop fucking playing with my
if
emotions,
he lose that
nigga.
game, I'm not even gonna bother to call or talk to you. Like I
don't,
already know.
don't. What the
I
fuck are you
already know.
talking to me for?
I already know. I'm not even
You
going to
better
like
hope you
you and
better hope
Brandon.
we
I'm
have
just gonna be like,
nigga. You
I'm gonna
better
just
hope
leave them niggas be.
you better hope we still have a podcast after that game. you fuck, I can't keep getting on here talking about fucking Ryan Day if he losing these games, dog. I
Because there's
can't.
a good chance I might even be watching that game with Brandon. If they're losing
I
that
don't ever
game, I'm gonna
watch
just
that
get up
game
and
with
leave.
anybody. I always watch that game at home by myself. Like, what the fuck? No, bro.
Yeah,
No,
I haven't watched it with anyone, but there's always a good chance that it could happen. Like he might get the day off or the night off, and like we just be out somewhere and the game is on, and like
that is
you know what? That won't. Yeah, I don't want to be out in public if they're losing that. I don't want to be out in public if
No,
you're winning that game. Actually,
listen. I will be at home in the crib with the lights
yeah,
off and a drink in
you
my
know
hand.
what?
That's the
You
only
know
way
what?
to watch that game,
My
bruh.
fault. You right. What is that? November? I'm staying
Yeah,
home.
yeah. What are we talking
It's
about? What are
cold.
we talking about?
November in Ohio. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's let's run through Iowa really quickly. We've sort of talked about them a lot, just through various shows, not even just the previews, because we've had questions about their offense, so we don't have to stick on
Yeah,
this too long. Um, they,
I'm excited for. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we usually have one team where we're like really looking forward to, and it's usually been Minnesota or Illinois. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's Iowa for me this year.
yeah, that's an insane thing to say, but
It
that's
is.
what happens when you fire your nepo baby son, who wasn't good. Now
He
people
wasn't.
now people are excited about you.
Uh,
Here's
it
the
was
thing
either
though,
him
like,
or both of y'all, really.
yeah. Iowa, I don't even want to talk about Iowa, bro. Like, what is there to talk about? Mm, They had average quarterback play forever. They get a
Uh-huh.
new quarterback who won, I believe he won, yeah, he won the Walter Camp Award. His name is Mark Gronowski. He won the Walter Camp Award, which is the Heisman at the FCS level. There's nothing to listen. This is what we're going to say about Iowa, and I don't mean to disrespect Iowa. This is what we're going to say about Iowa. Iowa is the same Iowa that they've always been. Iowa's Iowa. What is going to be different this year is if the quarterback can play.
They
The
should. Yeah, that's what I'm
quarterback,
saying. The difference should be is that they should have a better passing game that they've had for the past whatever the hell. But if what the media and stuff is trying to say, this office passing offense should be better. It should be better than what we've seen from Iowa in previous years. Running game was decent last year.
yeah, they had a good
Defense
running
is
back, but they
always
lost
good.
him. But again,
Yeah.
defense was not to their level. So I want to read this word for word because I
11th,
think this
12th.
is important to say. I just think it's cool. So Mark Gronowski, in 2023, he won the Walter Camp Award, which is the FCS Heisman. He was a 4-year starter, won 2 national titles, and holds a 49-6 record. His FCS stat line is like video game numbers you see from top high school recruits. 130 yards, 93 passing touchdowns, 1,767 rushing yards, and 37 rushing touchdowns. I am very excited for this kid. Honestly, but the thing with Iowa is just like, and I hate to say this, I want to be where you're at. The things that are stopping me is one, the coach is
You said how
racist,
many rushing yards? Yeah, I mean,
1,767, and
no
37
rush. I
rushing
meant rushing
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
37.
37.
He's
It was
accounted for
oh, so
130 touchdowns in his 4 years. And the thing
God
is,
damn.
I wanna look out for them, but I can't because the coach is racist and they have a hard schedule. If they had last year's schedule, this is like literally like as much as I would hate to say it, if they had the schedule that they had last year, I would be picking them to make the playoffs. Like I would be picking them over Illinois and Indiana, but they don't.
Mhm.
So they're they're you're at the behest of your schedule, right? The Big Ten didn't want them to be six. Jesus, the Big Ten didn't want them to succeed.
Mhm.
Um, they
And
are
yet we still got
returning.
them winning pretty a good amount of their games.
I just have them losing all the tough ones, basically.
Yeah,
Um, uh, um, they're returning 4 offensive line starters, which is good.
that
But
is
the
good.
thing is with the receiver room, it's just it's tough, right? They I don't know, man. They lost their tight end Luke Lachey. Um, so
That's
are
who
they
they
going to
are
keep doing
now.
the tight end thing? Maybe because they have done the tight end thing for a while. But as with anything, there's a chance that, like, right, we kept saying that Ohio State always had good quarterbacks. Then they had Kyle McCord, right? It's just like sometimes these things happen. We didn't say this, but everyone says Lincoln Riley has good quarterbacks, and then he didn't have one last year. Like, just because you always doesn't mean you don't have a year that you won't. And so this could be the year that they have a bad tight end. I thought, hold on, did they lose that wide receiver that I liked?
I thought they kept him.
I'm not. I'm just.
I thought they brought in one and kept him too.
I'm not seeing his name, which makes me worried that he's not there. Because if he's not there, that was the excitement that I had, which is hilarious because he actually didn't have that good of a year. So, well, I just thought I don't know. Because what did he say? He only had 100. He had less than two. Why do I like it? You know what? I'm not even gonna do this. I'm not gonna talk about it. It doesn't matter. On defense, their defense Here's the thing. The defense wasn't an Iowa defense, especially in the pass. These are their passing defense numbers. They were 42nd in passing defense, 22nd in yards per attempt, 42nd in QB rating, 86th in QB completion percentage, 15 in explosive pass because they never allow explosive passes. They were slightly better and defense, but they were 89th in rushing and negative plays, which means they weren't getting any sort of sacks. They were not the Iowa defense that you expect. They were a middle of a pack defense, and unfortunately, that does not get it done. Are they going to be better this year? I don't know because they do still have the best. Uh, they do still have the best defensive coordinator, one of the best defensive coordinator in the country, but they keep losing players, and it does get hard to sort of do this, right? They need to reload because they lost two start again on a defense that wasn't the best last year. They lost two defensive linemen, their top two linebackers, and three defensive backs. And I get it with Iowa, we always say that they're good, and they will be good. But
Uh-huh.
the question becomes, are they going to be 2023 Iowa or 2024 Iowa? If they're 2024 Iowa's defense, that's not enough. Like it's because it wasn't enough last year, unfortunately. So and again, they have a tough schedule. So, they do still have Xavier Nwankpa, who is a great player. Big fan of him. He's going to be a top 50 pick. I don't think he lasts past the second round unless he has an awful year. But they won't be bad. They just won't be great. And Iowa needs to be great. For them to have the year that you're expecting or to have a good year, essentially their offense needs to be really, really good. But it's tough because they also play five of the top seven teams in the conference. How much can you say about a team with this schedule?
Fair enough. True. I still think I think they're gonna be still pretty decent, pretty good. I know they got a tough schedule, but we'll say that, right? And then those tough schedule, like those Big Ten schools end up like just flopping sometimes. Some of those teams just end up flopping when the season gets really underway.
Yeah, but
But
even with that, the problem with that statement is
mhm,
they most of the teams that they play are around them. They don't get the bottom. They don't get Northwestern. They don't get Maryland. They
that's true.
don't get Purdue. So like even if they say Indiana doesn't have the year that they have, they could lose to Wisconsin. Like let's say like you know what I mean? It's just like it's not just that they play Oregon and Penn State and Iowa State, who they always play. It's that they also play Rutgers and Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan State and Nebraska. Very much teams that they could beat, but also very much teams that they could lose to. They don't get the
That's true.
easy games, which is their problem. There's not a single, of course, we're going to give them win, but there's not really a single game on this schedule where you say there's no chance they lose it. I think they beat Rutgers. I think they beat Michigan State, but I wouldn't say there's no chance they lose that game. Maybe you disagree, but there's not a single game on the schedule in the Big Ten that for me there's no chance they lose it, and
I'm
that's
not
the
gonna lie to
hard
you.
part.
I think the one school I have one, and it would be Minnesota. Even though I see where I have, but I think it would be Minnesota.
Okay, okay,
Out of all those schools, yeah.
yeah, okay. So let's just do it. Let's show it. So Iowa's 2025 schedule. They play U Albany, Great Danes. That should be an easy win. They then play Iowa State, who is a team that they typically beat as a rival, but they lost to them last year. And I think that Iowa State's going to be better than them this year. It's also at Iowa State. So you have a win, I have a loss. Then they play UMass, that's a win. Then they play Rutgers, we both have a win. Then they play Indiana. You have them upsetting Indiana. I have them losing. Is this one of your sort of anything can happen, or is this you saying you don't believe?
I don't think Indiana's winning 10 games this year. And it's this game. It's one of these games. I think Indiana will be good. I just don't think they're winning 10 games again. Or what do they win? 11? 10.
11. They won 11.
They won
And
11
yeah,
games last. Yeah, yeah. I don't think they're getting 10 wins this year. and that's the one loss that where you're going to be like, I don't know how that happened, but okay. But yeah, I don't think Indiana's getting 10 wins, and that's why I have that as a win for Iowa.
Okay.
Also, early enough in the season where it could be a sneak type of win for Iowa.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
Um,
Like if this was like week 9, then no.
yeah, mm, so I agree, but I also disagree in that I think this would be better for them if it was in week 9 because it's more chance for their offense to gel.
Hmm.
And I think, I mean, I guess week 5 is enough time. This, I would, they absolutely could beat Indiana. I would give them more chance to beat Indiana if they were coming off a bye or if it was later in the year and they had more time with their offense. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to win, like that they couldn't win. So after the Indiana, they have a bye. Then they play at Wisconsin. We both have a win there. And then they go to Penn State. And then they play Minnesota. That's a sneaky tough
Hmm.
3 game stretch. You have a win at Wisconsin, a loss to Penn State and Minnesota. I have a
Yep.
win at Wisconsin, loss to Penn State, and a win at Minnesota. Then they have a bye
Hmm.
week. Then they play Oregon at USC, which is not ideal, even though USC is whatever. And this is really where our schedule differs.
Hmm.
You have a lot. We both have a loss at Oregon. You have them beating USC. I have them losing to USC. We don't have to hash that out. We hashed that out 15 minutes ago. I will just say briefly on why I think I had them losing the game is I just I think that USC's defense is going to be slightly better. I think that Iowa has a problem, especially in their secondary with losing so many people, and I just think that USC may be able to score. Um, but I will say if USC does not put up 30, they lose. Are they going to put up
Hmm.
30? I don't know. Very easily. I could very easily be wrong, and Iowa does what it does with a lot of teams, and it puts them in sort of a knockout, drag out fight. I do think the schedule matters, and I think it hurts them that they go to USC immediately after playing Oregon. But am I confident in that? No, I'm not at all. Um,
I think I get what you're saying about going to USC. I think that also can help Iowa because they're playing in a warm. That's a warm game. Playing at Oregon is cold,
yeah, and
but
that
playing
one's
in
at home. Yeah,
yeah, and even yeah, and so you're going to be playing in the cold to get out of the cold and then go to California and then play in a warm game in the sun because I know it's at noon. Oh, it's at 3.
yeah,
Still, oh, that's 3 our time, so it's noon their time.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that helps them too. I think I get it. It's a hindrance and a help. I think it's a little bit of both, really, for that game at least.
Yeah. And then they play Michigan State. We both have a win. And then they play Nebraska. You have a loss. I have a win. I think they're 7-5 no matter what, because I could see them beating USC and then losing to Nebraska. I don't see them getting
Huh,
to 8
that's fair.
with their schedule and
Mhm.
the losses on the defense. I think it's just tough for them. If their defense is 20th in the country, that's not enough for how they play. Because even if their offense improves, I don't think their offense is going to be top 50. So it sort of evens out in the schedule and some of the things. So I have a 7-5 team. 8-4 is definitely possible, but I think they're sort of 7-5. To round this out, because boy, is this show going long, we have USC. I hate talking about USC. Lincoln Riley's a loser. He's going to do the thing that he always does, which is bring in a bunch of transfer players, talk about his quarterback, and then he's going to lose games because he doesn't have any hair on his chest. I do like his defensive coordinator hire, which sort of helps, but also at the same time with the defense, it's a bunch of people who sort of are ready to leave, and so you don't. I don't know, man. If you, I will just do this. If you believe in USC, it is because you believe that Jaden Maeva is a good quarterback. They went 3-1 with him. Um, but he also did have a game where he threw 2 pick sixes. So they also have an incoming freshman in Hussein Longstreet, but it's most likely going to be Jaden Maeva. They did lose their starting running back, Woody Marks. Um, but they're bringing in Quentin Joyner. Uh, no, sorry. They lost Woody Marks and Quentin Joyner, and they lost 3 of their wide receivers. So I don't know. Like there's a lot of hype around USC, but I don't really get it. because they lost both their running backs, they lost three of their wide receivers, and they're betting on a quarterback who I think is only decent. And Lincoln Riley has not shown himself prepared for the Big Ten. The good thing
At
that
all.
they did bring in good running backs. They had a running back last year who ran for 1,000 yards, and then they brought in another running back who ran for 1,600 yards and 20 touchdowns, but he was at a lower level. He was at a JUCO. So again, does that transfer? I don't know. Um, they have Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane at wide receiver. I think that they are good players, but who knows? They did have a really good offensive line last year, which is very surprising for them. They had a top 10 offensive line in O-line run push and pass protection. Um, but
That's
they
interesting.
lost three starters. And I mean, they had players that were drafted pretty high. They lost three
Yeah.
starters and center Jonah Monheim and guard Emmanuel Pregnon, and then their tackle transferred to Auburn. Pregnon went to Oregon. They brought in some transfers, but they brought them from Syracuse and Purdue, so that's not ideal. But they do have a freshman who won All American. So we'll see. Their offensive line was actually good last year, but are they going to be? I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
their defense was better, but it still was not great. They cut off 10 points per game. They cut off 60 yards per game. They limited explosive plays, but at the same, and they learned how to tackle, but it didn't do a whole lot for them.
But the thing is like they learn how to tackle late in the season.
They did,
Because I remember watching those
and
games.
they
They
still
weren't
couldn't
tackling.
tackle.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't tackling to start the season.
Yep. They
Mhm.
they had
And
four.
that's when they had all their players
Yeah.
playing.
They had four defenders earn all league, but they only returned one of them. They lose both of their linebackers.
I was about to
And
say,
I'm sorry.
didn't they lose a lineman before the season got to week 5, week
Yeah,
6?
he just quit on them. He's actually at Oregon.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Interesting.
yeah. So here's the thing, and the funny thing with USC sometimes is you can see where they're deficient and how they're trying to fix it, but you can also see that he doesn't really understand what he's doing. Everyone told him he needed a bigger offensive defensive line, so he just went and got big players. So he brought in a player that's 330 and a player that's 350, and it's like just because they weigh a lot doesn't mean they're going to be good. Like it's just like the thing he did
Like, are they
last
good
year
on
with.
their feet? Are they
Yeah, it's just the
fast?
thing he
With
did.
the coach
Yeah,
hires?
it's the thing he did with the coach hired last year. Is like you said, I need defense, so he hired a bunch of former defensive coordinators with no idea if they were going to work well together, and it was a little bit better, but they had some issues. Ultimately, the thing is, I think that USC is probably going to be bad again this year. The bet, if they don't fire him, is that maybe they get better after that because they currently have the number one ranked class in the Big Ten for 2026, and they also were better than sort of expected, but I don't know, man. They also have a tough schedule. So it's one of those things where like if you really, 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 really pay attention to the minute details, they may be a slightly better team. But how much of it? Oh, I didn't mean to share my screen that long. But how much of it is going to matter with the schedule that they have? And the question is, I don't
Yeah.
know because like Iowa, they also have a tough schedule, and so and they have Lincoln Riley as their head coach. But the thing with USC is they do get, while their schedule is tough, Iowa, as we said, has a lot of teams that are sort of even or close to them, teams that could upset them. Um, USC has tough games, but then all their other games are easy. So they're sort of going to
They
rack
got
up wins.
I was gonna say they got 2 easy wins. That's about it
Yeah, but
on
the
the
thing is,
schedule I can
Iowa
see
had
here.
no easy wins, so that does sort of
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
So they start out the season. We both have them starting 4-0 with Missouri State, Georgia Southern, Purdue, and Michigan State. Then they play Illinois, which should be a loss. So they're going to start the season 4-1. Everyone's going to be like, "Oh my God, they're so good! They're going to be a good team again." And then they have a hellish stretch starting with Illinois, but there's a bye week and a 3-game stretch. They play Illinois, Michigan, Notre Dame. The Michigan one's weird for me. I have them winning that game just because I think that um I think that's going to be a
They got
tough game.
they got they got worse on defense and couldn't beat Michigan last year, who I think will be better on offense this year.
Barely, but Michigan also has a freshman quarterback, and he's going to be
They
playing in the
they
Coliseum
still
for the
can run.
first time.
right. They still can, and that's where I think where they can run the ball.
You
And
hope they
the
could
one thing
run the
about
ball. They also lost their best
right,
running back.
yeah, but I think, but again, USC lost all that defensive linemen just because they got big people. That means nothing. Like we said that, like we just said, just because they have those big guys there doesn't mean anything because they still need to gel and mesh and get acclimated to the scheme itself.
But the
I
thing is with saying they lost to Michigan last year, which sure they did lose to Michigan last year, but they could have won that game. I think that
yeah,
this game is going to be basically the same exact game. The difference is Michigan's going to have a freshman quarterback.
and you're that's very true. I think the reason why I'm going to go with Michigan getting that win is that while USC was in that game and could have won that game last year, they still lost. You're saying that that's going to happen this year, while they're I think in my eyes going to be worse than what they were last year. I think Michigan will be slightly, not much, but slightly better than they were last year, and they couldn't beat that team last year. So
But you could
I don't
also
think
argue
Michigan get the
that
win.
you could also argue that USC is going to be better. So first of all,
I don't think on
if
defense.
USC's quarterback is better, that helps because they partially lost that game because of who they had at quarterback. And this quarterback can run, which is going to mitigate some of the things. Listen, I'm with some of these things, you have to pick every game. I'm not standing 10 toes on them beating Michigan. But they're also getting Michigan off of a bye, and it's at home. And Michigan got to lose some games. Like I think part of this is the
Hmm.
loss for this is like I had Michigan pushing 9, 10 wins, and I didn't believe it. Michigan also has to
Yeah,
lose some games. I think that they lose this one. Um, I could very much be wrong. I'm not. This is not a win. I'm standing 10 toes on. Then they play Notre Dame at Notre Dame. That's a game that I'm standing 10 toes on that being a loss. Absolutely. They go into a bye. They
you're losing
finish
that.
the schedule with Nebraska, Northwestern, Iowa, Oregon, UCLA. Um, you have them beating Nebraska. I have them losing. We both have them beating Northwestern. That's the thing. Like they do play some tough teams, but they get Purdue,
In
Michigan State,
Northwestern.
and Northwestern, plus like they have 6 guaranteed wins. And then it's just what do they do in the rest of the games? And they could very easily shit the bed, and I hope that they do, but they could win some of these games as well. Um, I have them as
I
like
have more
the
faith in them
worst.
shitting the bed, honestly.
I I I don't know. Nebraska, but you have them beating Nebraska.
I know,
Nebraska win, you have a win, I have a loss.
cause
A win
here's my
at
thing. Hold on,
Northwestern. You have a loss at Iowa, I have a win. Loss at
cause
Oregon,
I don't. The reason why I have them beating Nebraska is because I don't think Nebraska is going to win 9 to 10 games
but Nebraska
either.
is going to be better than Michigan.
Yes,
So it's just
I'll
like
give you that.
I, this we've been going on too long to argue this
Oopsies.
point at this point.
Yeah,
And then we
talked for
both
a
have
long
them
time.
beating UCLA. So I have them at 8-4.
I don't even
And
fully believe that one.
but so my thing is, I think with you, and I don't entirely disagree with everything. I think some of your USC stuff is colored by how you feel about them. But the thing is, they weren't as bad last year as we thought they were going to be. And so there's if they get slightly better, that's 8 wins because of their schedule. Like I don't think as much as I like to make fun of USC and things, I don't think they're a bad team as much as I just don't think they're a
I
national
think I
title
think I
contender,
don't
which is
I
what
don't
people
think they're a
want
bad
them to
team.
be.
I think they're a bad coach team. I don't think they're a bad team. I just think they're poorly coached.
Yeah, they're poorly coached with better talent than most teams in the Big Ten still.
And that I mean, you can have a lot of talent and be coached and still be a terrible team because you're coached terribly. Again, I've always thought that I've come to I've said out loud that I think the past few years that Iowa was a better team than what they show. Their coach just was holding them back.
Yeah. Um I don't disagree with that. I'm not gonna sit here and defend USC. That's not my point. I think you're a little harder on them than like what you can reasonably expect for them. Like you're saying they could lose to UCLA and some of these teams, which would put them at 6-6. And I don't think they're a 6-6 team. I just think that they're one of the worst 8-4 teams in the country. But their schedule
Okay.
is it's one of those things where we talk about like there are some teams where you're like, wow, 8-4, that is really good, and then there's teams like this where I think they get to 8-4 because they just don't play anybody. They have 6 guaranteed wins, and then two like they don't even play Washington. If they had Washington, I'd probably pick them to lose. I just think their schedule is too easy. So I have 8 wins. You have 7, and that is the end of this tier. Um, because we're over 2 hours, we are not going to do our pit
Yeah,
stop this week because there's no
yeah.
point. Um,
Trust, I still have the anger for it next week.
yeah. Any final thoughts on any of these teams?
um, we nah. I've talked enough about the easiest because we talked way too much about Iowa and USC. If we're being honest, I've talked enough
Yeah.
because we talked about those two teams, and I really feel like Minnesota's gonna be very disappointing to me. I just have this bad feeling.
You may be right. Um,
Hmm.
so that's the show. I mean, listen, if you're still here, thank you. Uh,
Appreciate you.
you know, I would feel bad about
Because I'm
being,
not even live on Twitch anymore.
yeah, I would
I
feel,
ain't been live on Twitch since like minute 15.
yeah, I would feel bad about going 2 hours, except all of the sports podcasts I'm listening to are hitting 2 hours because it's hard to preview teams.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's this is usually when we get about 2 hours.
yeah, we're out of here.
Uh,
Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week. Next week, we have our contenders. It's going to be a fun show. We'll catch you next week.